Hey now, 580 Sports Talk coming your way on a Thursday afternoon. Welcome to our Huntoon Hill studios. I'm Brendan Dorzinski, flying solo with you here in this 3 o'clock hour of the show. Spencer Dupuis will be by coming up after 4 o'clock. Dan Lucero is on assignment. He was assigned family vacation for a long weekend. So we will talk to Dan coming up on Monday next week. But you've got yours truly here for the next hour of 580 Sports Talk. It is such a blessing to be with you on this rainy, drizzly, dreary Thursday afternoon in the capital city. Appreciate you following along with the show, however you are doing so today, whether that is on 580 AM across the state of Kansas, here in Topeka on 104.9 FM, online around the world at 580wibw.com, or of course, live in video form on our YouTube channel. Head to youtube.com, search 580 Sports Talk. It's the easiest way to find us. Or just, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Then you'll always know when we are going live every single day. We've got a boatload to get to on a 580 Sports Talk today. We'll talk some Royals here in a little bit to lead things off. Wow, what an ugly, odious last couple of days for the Royals. If they had lost in disappointing fashion like the series opener against the Yankees, where Waka goes out, has a really good outing, Lucas Erceg yaks it up at the end. Like, if you had lost a few close ones, say, yeah, well, Yankees are a better team, they got a better lineup, better pitching, but hey, at least we were in it. If that had been the case, it would be one thing and it'd be disappointment, and yeah, we know what this Royals team is. Instead, the last 2 days saw the Royals go out and get spanked by the New York Yankees. Spanked. Dan mentioned it yesterday on the show. He was there for the divisional series 2 seasons ago at the K when the Royals played the Yankees, and it really felt like the Royals had a chance at one point to win that series. And since that point, since a couple of heartbreakers in the postseason of 2024, they have done nothing but grovel at the feet of the evil empire and just be whipped like a government mule over and over and over again. Last night was no different. Pitcher fresh off of Tommy John in his second start back after missing over a full year. And all he does is throw under 100 pitches in 6 2/3 innings and embarrass the Royals. That's essentially what Garrett Cole, who, to be fair, is going to the Hall of Fame one day. That's what he did to the Royals last night. So we'll talk about that. And more than anything, let's talk about where this team goes from here at this point. They're 22-34. Any chance of the division is slipping away quickly. Playoff odds, not especially great right now. So where will this team go from here? We'll talk about that in a little bit. Want to hear from you as well. Text line, YouTube comments, your thoughts on what's next for this Royals team before they get back in action tomorrow. Mercifully, the boys in blue have the day off today. Also this hour, we'll hear from Rick Peterson of TopSports.news. It's the local sports spotlight on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits hotline. Mentioned the dreary and drizzly, if not worse, weather here in Topeka and across northeast Kansas. Games delayed all over the place. Start times delayed. Had state softball games that are possibly getting moved till tomorrow. Got a whole thing. We'll talk about it with Pistol. We'll update you coming up in our 580 Sports Talk headlines later today as well. Plenty of Chiefs to get to on the show today, 4 o'clock hour. I saw a couple of statistics this week that really just made me kind of mad about the Chiefs offense, and not even the personnel. You've heard me complain about the personnel and the lack of impact guys on offense. I mean, I've been complaining about that for over 2 years now, and certainly this offseason, my disdain for the fact that the Chiefs have not added enough guys. But a couple play calling thoughts that don't even need to change that much. Just a couple of plays per game different that I think could vault the Chiefs from a top 12 offense that is a bear to watch to legitimately a top 7 or 8 offense that could be one of the most exciting again in the NFL. We'll talk about that in the 4 o'clock hour. We're going to hear from Andy Reid at the bottom of the 4 o'clock hour. We'll hear from Patrick Mahomes in the 5 o'clock hour today. They both spoke in KC today at OTAs, so we will get to that. We also are going to play What Is Wrong With You, our May semifinals coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. We've got headlines, as we mentioned. Spencer and I will play a little either or over under in the final hour. Headlines today going to be contentious. I'm going to tell you that right off the rip. One of the In my time here on this program, and since we've had the text line my whole time here, or the YouTube comments, one of the most contentious and fired up topics that we ever get to from the listenership, from you, is the idea of a salary cap in Major League Baseball and a salary floor to go along with it. We know, as brought to you yesterday here on the program during headlines, that negotiations have begun, the newest round of negotiations for a new collective bargaining agreement between Major League Baseball and the Players Association. Well, today we've got the details on the initial proposal for a salary cap, and we've already got some thoughts in the YouTube comments. This is from our guy Clayton. Good to see you, Clayton. I feel like it's been a while. They are going into a lockout. I know that much for sure. I work for the team, and the hype was so real this year because they wanted to make a statement before the lockout comes. Yeah, Royals vibes aren't great. Major League Baseball collective bargaining doesn't feel especially great either. We'll get to the numbers. We'll get to the details. It's the start of a negotiation. So when you hear a salary cap number, and I'll tell you right now, it's just over $245 million, that and the floor is about 171. It's just the starting point. There's going to be negotiation from there, all of that. But I feel like I have not seen in any other sport, like the NFL, every 5, 10 years, 8 years, whatever it is, when they come up with a new collective bargaining agreement, it'll be 2030 next time they go back to the table. It's always, yeah, well, this sucks. Players are going to get hosed here. Maybe they'll get a little thing, and then, yeah, there it is. And they'll figure it out eventually. They'll get it done. The talk about the salary cap for baseball, from what I have seen, and I obviously don't have connections to owners. I'm not a baseball owner. I'm an NFL owner, as you know. I don't have connections at a high level like that or sources at a high level like that. But just the average MLB fan, the average, maybe not even the average fan, is pretty convinced it is going to get way uglier before it gets any better. So we'll talk about that a little bit in headlines, got the playoff roundup, and a whole lot more. And as mentioned earlier, I want to hear from you. As always, you can hit us up on the text line. That number, you know it by heart now, 785-272-9429. And additionally, you can hit us up on YouTube. YouTube.com, 580 Sports Talk is where you can go and find us. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. 978, just 22 subs away from 1,000. We're coming up with something. We're in the lab. We're in the kitchen. We're cooking something up, some sort of fun event when we hit 1,000 subscribers on the YouTube. Really appreciate all you guys who have checked out the video version of the show. All right, let's get to it. Before we talk Chiefs, what is wrong with you, headlines, all that today. Let's talk some Major League Baseball, and specifically, let's talk about the Kansas City Royals. We'll get the salary cap in the 5 o'clock hour. I don't need to rehash every detail about how badly the Yankees have thrashed the Royals in recent memory, because Dan went over all that yesterday, and I just mentioned the story about the ALDS from 2 years ago and all that, and the Royals just have been... They've been owned. I mean, the Yankees have been their daddy ever since. It sucks because I know Royals fans, especially those of you of a certain age, the Yankees are always public enemy number one. And generally that's the case for most of Major League Baseball. But you want to beat that team. Back in the day, that was a great rivalry. You want to beat those guys in pinstripes. And unfortunately, it's been pretty ugly over these last couple of seasons. And ugly only begins to describe it over the last couple of nights. You heard on yesterday's show all these negative facts and trends when it comes to the Yankees and them bludgeoning the Royals. And oh, what a surprise. They once again bludgeoned the Royals last night. It felt, when you just looked at the matchup and the probables for this week's series against the Yankees, and again, thankfully, no game today for the Royals. They are off, so we're done here at 6. They're back in action against the Rangers tomorrow. When you looked at the matchups, not even who the Royals were throwing, but just... okay, who do they have to face given the way that this Royals team is playing right now? You don't feel great about having to face Cam Schlitter and Garrett Cole back-to-back. Cole, again, is going to go to the Hall of Fame one day, and Cam Schlitter has some of the best numbers in Major League Baseball among all starters, both the baseball card stats and the advanced metrics this year. Really felt like you had to win the Waka start when you consider all those things, and again, that one ended in heartbreak. It wasn't Waka's fault. He was great. Urseg had the major roadblock there in the 9th inning, and, it is what it is. But knowing that you've got to face those two guys, daunting to say the least. Now, I will say it bothers me when, and this happens in all sports, oh, man, got to play this great defense, or, oh, this team shoots a ton of threes, can't beat them. This team has a couple of aces. No, great pitchers, good pitchers, elite pitchers can be beaten. Paul Skeens, the last time he pitched, he's pitching again tonight against Chicago, but the last time he pitched, he was battered by the Toronto Blue Jays. Now, Blue Jays offense, Royals offense, obviously some discrepancies there, but you can get to great pitchers. Still, you play the trends and where this Royals offense has been heading, you don't feel great going up against those two guys. I didn't expect wins, just to be frank. I'm sorry to be pessimistic. I'm sorry to be negative, but let's be realistic here, guys. I don't think most of us thought the Royals would win these last two games. But if you had lost those by a run, you lost the first one 4-3, it was a heartbreaker. But you lose those games 3-2, 5-4, even, a 5-3, and, they were in it. Just, the other teams got Aaron Judge, or, their starter shoved, and it's just a Cy Young candidate, whatever it is. Okay, it's a bummer. It's disappointing. You break down the game. You live with it. And I understand that expectations change over time, right? Like, I don't think anybody, and maybe I'm wrong, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, but I don't think anybody still views the Royals this year through the same lens we did at the start of the year. I thought this Royals team had a chance to win the division. I would have put the Tigers first, the Royals second. I thought the Royals had a real chance to win this division. And now we're about to end the month of May, and they're 12 games under 500. The Tigers, by the way, also suck. And that's the only team that is making the Royals not arguably the most disappointing team in the whole American League, because the Tigers had even more hype. And they also have the major injury, just like the Royals have to their ace. Cole Reagan says the setback the other day. Tarek Skubal is still a ways away from getting back. He might be traded at the deadline this year. I mean, those are your two most disappointing teams in the American League this year, I think. And it's unfortunate the Royals are in that spot. But again, given the way this season has gone, I was not expecting the Royals to win those games, but you at least want to be competitive. This is a team that I still believe has too much talent to be this bad, and maybe I'm naive for thinking that, but I do think even if Vinny is not the guy I hoped he would be, if Caglione is still not there, Bobby Witt Jr. is in the running for MVP, we don't need to worry about him. Garcia's had, his moments, obviously. You still should be able to be respectable, even against good teams, even if you're bad and they're good. And everybody's got an off night. Sometimes you're going to get blown out. It happens. It's baseball. That happens. Not even competitive 2 days in a row. And it's that is so disheartening about this club right now. And the offense going a combined over the last 2 days in which they were outscored 22-1, I might add. 10 for 63 at the plate over the last 2 days. That's under a 160 average. They were 2 for 10 over the last 2 days with runners in scoring position. So actually better with RISP than without. But those two hits did not drive in runs either time. The only run over the last 2 days was a Bobby Witt Jr. home run. That's it. They walked once in 2 days. They struck out 16 times. I mean, guys, this is like the doldrums, the dregs of the late stage Dayton Moore era kind of bad for a team that we thought had legitimate playoff hopes. And it's not dead in the water yet. But again, I think all of us have adjusted our expectations to some degree at this point. It just is brutal to watch, to the point where, like, what's the point in watching? And what's the point in the next step that the Royals are going to take? And that's not necessarily the most eloquent way to phrase this, but I know a lot of the Royals fan base, people around the club, fans, probably media as well, whoever, the bloggers, the tweeters, whatever. They're calling for Q's head. They're calling for Alex Zumwalt's head, first and foremost, Zumwalt. But Quattrero, yeah, same thing. Last year was a disappointment to miss the playoffs. This year it's a disappointment, not because you're not in playoff position, but because you stink. I mean, this team is just straight up not good right now. And that does fall on the manager. And I don't think it's always the manager's fault. I think a lot of times coaches/managers have to bear the brunt of the players more often than they probably should, the brunt of the players not succeeding. And I think that's especially the case in baseball. I don't think elite, great managers are frankly all that common. And I don't think there's a ton of managers out there who fit in the category that they're going to win you, 10, 12 games over the course of the year. I just don't think there are many of them out there. I don't think that managers have nearly the impact on a game-to-game basis that a football coach, a play caller does necessarily. A college basketball coach even more than an NBA coach. I think those guys have more game-to-game impact necessarily than a manager does. It's my personal perspective on it, just, following the game for my whole life. But when you are this much of a letdown, obviously the calls for your job are going to come. And it's always a little unsettling for me anyway to be calling for guys to get fired. Trust me, I get it. Not a good feeling. Even if you've got the money, you've got adulation from the past, it's not a great feeling. So it does feel a little bit weird. But my big question is this, and I don't have an answer for it. And I'm opening it up to you. I'm putting it out in the ether. It's something the Royals are going to have to figure out here. And J.J. Picollo, assuming he is safe, I guess I don't know for sure, but John Sherman above him, the people who are in charge of things with this franchise, what do you accomplish with a firing? And I'm not even saying don't do it. But my question is, what are you accomplishing? Is it sending a message? And if that's the answer, that's fine. You're going to fire the hitting coach because you went 10 for 63 over the last 2 days, 2 for 10 with runners in scoring position, scored 1 run in that time, and we just can't take it anymore. We're sending a message that this isn't good enough. If that's the answer, and if that's what you as a fan want, I've got no problem with that. And frankly, that's probably the way this is going to go. Full disclosure, I do not think Matt Quatraro is going to make it through this season. And at this rate, I don't know that he makes it to the All-Star break. We've already had a couple of managers let go in Major League Baseball this year. And I would not be surprised if Zumwalt goes even before Quatraro does. In fact, I think Q is going to try to save a job by throwing his hitting coach under the bus, if I had to guess. I don't know that that will happen. I'm just throwing a hypothetical out there. So if that's the goal with a firing, then do it. And fine. And I completely understand, and I do see the logic behind that. Is it because you think bringing in an interim guy, promoting someone off the bench, bringing someone in from the outside, is it because you think that's going to turn this thing around? I am far more dubious of that particular claim. I would love for that to be the case. Sometimes things like that happen. I don't particularly feel like that's all that likely. Do you do it because you're going to tear this thing down to the studs? If that's the case, I'm going to put a hard no on that. And I understand, again, some guys have not lived up to the expectations. They have not lived up to the hype. I get all of those things. However, you are currently in the midst of a long-term contract with Bobby Witt Jr. I'm not going to say, he's going to ask for a trade. I see that on social media every damn day at this point. Bobby's going to ask for a trade. You don't know that. I don't know that. I'm not going to expect that that's going to happen. He is being compensated handsomely for what he's doing in Kansas City. We know he likes the club, the fan base, the community, all those things. I'm not going to assume that. But what I do know is that you've got him for this long term, but you do not have him forever. He's playing at an MVP level right now. He is leading all position players in Major League Baseball in wins above replacement, according to Fangraphs anyway. I'm not including Shohei Ohtani. He does not fall in that category because he also pitches, obviously. Bobby Witt Jr. is up there. 3.5 wins above replacement, according to Fangraphs.com. He has been incredible. Best infielder with a glove in baseball, if not the best overall fielder in baseball. Even though he has not been up to his standard this year as a batter, he is still putting up far, far, far above average numbers and far better than Royals' average numbers, too. You can't, in my opinion, get rid of everyone else around him and tear it all down, because then it's going to take multiple years to build it back up. This is, again, not like the NFL where you can turn things around pretty much in a year. I mean, shoot, the Chicago Bears made it to the playoffs last year. They turned it around effectively in one season. You can't really do that in Major League Baseball. And if you do that now, you are throwing away an opportunity to win more with Bobby Witt Jr. That's why I don't think you can do that personally. If you disagree, I understand, but that's where I land on this. So that is my big overall where do we go from here question for the Royals, because it feels at this rate at 22-34, an off day today, just a couple more games left in the month of May, this is not likely going to get a ton better. And unless the Royals tear off 15 wins in the next 17, 18 games or something, and suddenly find themselves right back in the mix, right at just above 500 and still alive in the Comedy Central, that might save Matt Quatraro's job. Short of that, I don't think he's going to make it the entire season. And again, probably not to the All-Star break at this point. But why are you going to do it? Have intention. That's a point I would make to someone in sports, and that's a point I would make to someone in life in general. If you're going to do something, fine, but have intention. And if that intention is just send a message, I completely get it. I'm going to stop shy of endorsing it, but I completely understand it. If it's because you think you're going to fix this and all of a sudden, hey, we're going to be a playoff team once we get this dude out of here, I don't necessarily think that's the most realistic outcome. I want to know what you think. Where do the Royals go from here? Does it have to be a firing before you can do anything else? Where is the optimism meter for any sort of positivity the rest of the season? Let me know. Text line number 785-272-9429. YouTube comments, they are wide open. We'll get to your thoughts coming up next. Rick Peterson joins us later on this hour. We're talking plenty of Chiefs later on this edition of 580 Sports Talk. Just before 3:30, just getting started on this edition of 580 Sports Talk. Brendan Dworzynski with you in the studio today. We'll hear from Rick Peterson coming up here in around 10 minutes, just under 10 minutes from right now. Scheduling getting all jacked up for state events today because of the rain across the state, certainly in our area. So we'll talk to Pistol about that. Have some Washburn basketball thoughts. The Washburn women announced their transfer class signees today. So we'll talk to Pistol about that. All sorts of prep sports, local sports spotlight with Rick coming up in just a little bit. Some great interaction here on the YouTube feed regarding our Royals conversation here from that first segment. Royals now 22-34. Also do want to mention, because somebody corrected me here, I think it was Carl in the YouTube comments. I pronounced Cam Schlittler's name wrong, so I do apologize. I said, I'm thinking of Art Schlitter, obviously, Cam Schlittler. Anywho, a lot of discussion about the batting coach or hitting coach, Alex Zumwalt, and he should go. Look, I don't think Zumwalt is very good at this particular job. Maybe it's a change of scenery that he needs, and in some other position at some other point, he could find success. I think that's been a problem for quite some time. I've seen a couple different thoughts there. Carl also mentioning hitting approach can be changed. Why can't we get someone home from second with 0 outs or from third with 1 out? Hey, man, I get it. There are few things in baseball more frustrating. My good pal, our former co-host Jake LeBon, would say walks just in general. That man hates walks in baseball more than anyone I've ever met. But I get it. It's just throw a strike. Get the ball over the plate. You know where it has to go. Get the ball over the plate. But watching a team have opportunities and squander them it's aggravating, it's agonizing, whatever adjective you want to use. It is just so brutal to watch. And yeah, there's certainly a change you can make in approach. But again, my question comes back to who are you going to promote, or who is going to take the reins that can do that on the fly? Is it something this group can do on the fly? Is it something that is just unfortunately in the DNA of this team that they cannot figure out? That's something that this team is going to have to determine when they, in all likelihood, pull the plug at some point with this staff. This from our good pal, the Bard. Christopher says, Brendan, I think it's been far enough into the season we can remove the qualifier right now from how bad the Royals are. I hope I'm wrong. I see nothing, though, to indicate that I am. Why do you think so many kids coming up are fans of the Braves, the Yankees, the Cubs, or not even baseball at all? Yeah, well, there's a lot of that, too. And that probably blends in with the salary cap conversation we're going to have coming up in headlines a little bit later on today as well. Couple other thoughts I wanted to get into here. Just general, malaise and disappointment with this team. And again, I thought this team could win the division, man. I really did. I really thought they had it in them. And it's so frustrating to see a team that's got multiple premium talents. Like Bobby Witt Jr. is obviously one of the best players in all of baseball. And it is a short list for that. We're talking Judge, Ohtani. Witt is in that conversation. You want to put Ohtani in his own category because it's kind of his own thing. I get that. But that's what we're talking about here. Cole Reagans, in terms of ability, is as good as almost anybody in Major League Baseball. I don't know if he's quite Scooble or Skeens, but that dude is phenomenal, but he's never healthy. We never get to see that guy. And you just have so many other pieces on this roster that you had expectations for that just have not gotten there, or haven't gotten there consistently enough, which sucks, man. Major bummer. Few texts I want to get to here. One from the 785. In regard to the Royals, allow me to quote Sid the Sloth from Ice Age. They do this every year. Wow, I'm surprised that I did not expect a Sid the Sloth from Ice Age reference today, but that's excellent from the 785. Another one here from the 785. Isn't the hitting coach new? And if so, start there and work up and see how it goes. So Zumwalt has been around for several years now. I think there have been some shifts on the staff, if I am remembering correctly from the offseason. But it's Zumwalt in the driver's seat here. And he is not the only problem. And again, I think as fans, because we like the players, we get to see their personality more. They're guys we want to see. I'm speaking in generalities here, but they're guys we want to see be successful. We are sometimes, unless they're real tools, are hesitant to put a ton of blame on those guys. We want to be rooting for them, so it's got to be someone else who's the problem. At some point, you guys got to play better. And that does not always fall on coaching and managing. But again, you talk about the expectations and being so far below where you thought you would be in another year of this active coaching program. And yeah, it gets even easier to point more fingers. We've got another one here from the 785, a series of texts, in fact, from the 785. Thank you for checking in with us today. Hard to believe this was once a real rivalry in the AL, referencing Royals-Yankees. This team has no fire. Who on this team is going to get mad and do something? Absolutely no one. Well, there's something to that as well. Managing a baseball team is about the long haul, not the individual games. Q has proven he cannot make the adjustments to turn anything around over either short or long hauls. To close my point, I'm going to keep banging the gong for Ron Washington being somewhere on this coaching staff. Ron Washington's got his flaws, but he's been a great coach for a long time. I'm totally open to trying something new. I want to make sure that is clear. I have no issue with wanting that. I assume what is going to happen with at least the top of this coaching staff, managerial staff, at some point. I am totally open to those new ideas. My hope, and I hope that the Royals are a well enough run organization that this is not going to be an issue, is that you're not just doing this to satiate, like, wow, people are being mean to us on Twitter. Let's fire Matt Quattrero. Let's fire Alex Zumwalt. No, you've got to have some intention behind it. And again, if the whole intention is to tell your guys, hey, these coaches were failing you, and we as an organization have failed you, we're going to do something different to spark this team and to say we're doing our best for you. We hear our fans at large. We're doing something to prove that this bothers us too, just like it bothers you, and we're trying to make it better. If that's the whole goal, I've got no problem with that. I just don't want to see a change just for the sake of making a change, because that is where you run into major, major problems. We've got to get to another commercial break. When we come back, we shift over to the local sports, the prep level, and more. We'll be joined by Rick Peterson of TopSports.news for this week's edition of the Local Sports Spotlight here on 580 Sports Talk. Joining us on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits Hotline is the best of the best when it comes to covering all of our local teams. That is the great, the Hall of Famer, Rick Peterson, for today's edition of the Local Sports Spotlight. Pistol, are you staying dry out there on this dreary state Thursday?
Yeah, right now I'm inside and dry and just trying to keep track of everything. And, of course, everything's in a state of flux right now. Hayden is underway. They're underway in their 4A game in Manhattan. The 6A and 5A's down in Wichita have been fighting it. But I think we're going to get a lot in today. And then some of them, like Washburn Rural Baseball, have been pushed back till tomorrow to play their semifinal.
I've also been told that the times for tomorrow are kind of in flux. I got an update on state softball, specifically the smaller classes out in Lawrence, that they might play some games as early as 9:30 tomorrow, depending on how the radar looks. They might have to move it back. Have you heard something similar, that everything is just kind of touch and go at this point?
I haven't really followed them too much, but touch and go is the perfect way to put it. It's just going to, because, we still got more rain in the forecast. So we'll just have to see. They're obviously doing their best to get them in, but I have little doubt that we'll probably be playing some games on Saturday.
Think there's any chance that they can a couple of third-place games if necessary?
They already have.
Okay.
They already have, I think, in 6A and 5A, they've already canned the third place games, I believe. And yeah, I expect if they get any more rain, they could make that across the board. I'm thinking. And I'm not a huge fan of the third place games anyway, so I'm perfectly fine with that.
I was going to say, Pistol, I bet you're heartbroken by that particular piece of news.
Yeah. I think we're at the point I would like to see them just give 2 third place trophies to the teams and call it a day.
We're talking to Rick Peterson of TopSports.news. He joins us every Thursday at this time for the local sports spotlight here on 580 Sports Talk via the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits hotline. Go check out all his great work covering our local teams over at TopSports.news. You mentioned a few of them on the baseball diamond, Pistol. Let's start right there, and let's start with the Hayden Wildcats. They are underway. How are we feeling about Bill Arnold's group here as we get into the biggest moments of this season?
I think they really have a good chance. Because of the way they won that quarterfinal game, down 3, going into the 7th, they down to their last strike on multiple occasions and found a way to win. And sometimes you can just ride that all the way to the bank.
The Washburn Rural Junior Blues, as well as they get ready out in Manhattan. Same question there. What's the vibe around this program? How are they feeling as they as well go into this latter part of the season with a championship in mind?
Yeah. Now, you said Washburn Rural?
Yes.
Yeah, they're actually in Wichita, and they will not play. Yeah, they will not play until tomorrow now, I'm hearing, because it's been pushed back. I don't have the list right in front of me, but I was thinking like 10 a.m. In the morning. And then if they win that, they will go ahead and play for the championship later tomorrow, weather willing.
Do you feel good about their chances to win that one tomorrow?
I like them. I mean, I like them. I think, they got a really good pitching performance the other day from Tyler Edmondson. So they've kind of saved their pitchers. And, at this time in the state tournament baseball, it's all about who has the most arms left. That's why I like Hayden too. Bill's told me all year that he feels like he's got 8 guys that can throw the ball, and particularly at high school level, that's almost unheard of. So if it comes down to pitching, I like their chances, and I like Rural's chances. Rural's got a good pitching staff, and have been able to come up with a time full hit. I like them. I like Silver Lake. I like Heights. Again, good pitching. We went 5-0 in for the county teams in the quarterfinal round. Now Rossville lost 6-2 to a very good team, and will play for third. But you still got you got bunch left that I think could go all the way.
I'm glad you mentioned Shawnee Heights and all the programs in there, obviously Silver Lake as well. But Shawnee Heights in particular is interesting to me in 5A, Pistol, because in the quarterfinal round in 5A, only one higher seed won in that bracket, and it was the 4 seed Aquinas beating Bishop Carroll. Otherwise, you had the 6, the 7, and the 8 seeds all advance to the semis. Does that feel wide open to you? Because at least based on seeding, it sure seems like it.
Well, I think it is. And the other thing about that is, seeds are based on record only, obviously, although I hear some noise that they might be trying to go to a strength of schedule. But right now they're based on record only. And you got a team like a St. James and St. Thomas Aquinas that play such a tough schedule that they're not going to be intimidated by anybody when they get to this point. And I kind of feel that way about Shawnee Heights too. I just think they were used to being there. They had lost a couple first rounders in a row, but I think if you have confidence in your schedule and your schedule prepares you, this time of year doesn't intimidate you.
Chatting with Rick Peterson of TopSports.news, joining us on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits hotline for this week's edition of the local sports spotlight. Let's flip over to the other diamond sport, and let's talk a little softball here. The Topeka High Lady Trojans, man, what an incredible story that they, with Nyjah there, obviously several years ago, became this powerhouse, and they have just continued to play incredible ball here going into this postseason. Let's break down that 6A field a little bit, Pistol, on the softball side.
Well, Topeka High, I think, and Shane kind of said that they kind of flew under the radar for most of the year. Their only regular season losses were 2 to a really good Washburn Rural team and 1 to a split with a good Hayden team. Other than that, they went up and beat some of the best Kansas City teams up in the tournament up there, and they've been rolling. And I think their chances are even bet. I mean, I think they play Gardner next, and Gardner's really good, but I really like the way they're playing.
That's another bracket too, Pistol. That was the number 1 seed. Derby was 28-0 going into state. They got knocked off in their quarterfinal game. So that's another bracket that feels wide open for 6A softball.
Yeah, and for that matter, Silver Lake baseball and Hayden softball. There's just been a crazy bunch of upsets, and like I said, I don't know at this time of year you really call them upsets, but on paper they're upsets.
Out in Lawrence coming up tomorrow, 3rd straight state championship game for the Silver Lake girls in softball, taking on southeast of Saline. What do you make of that matchup and the odds that the Eagles can bring home another state title?
Well, I kind of feel like this might be their year. They had lost 2 years in a row to Frontenac, a very good Frontenac team that went back-to-back. Frontenac got beat in the quarterfinals, and I know Southeast Saline's very tough, but I like Nick Hamilton's group, and I think they got a chance. Maybe, third time could be the charm.
We'll get to as many other athletes in sports as we can. As you know as well as anyone, Pistol, this time of year is absolutely insane. Your all-city girls swimming and diving teams mentioned over at TopSports.news as well. Break it down for us, some of the all-stars in the pool this spring.
Well, it wasn't as strong of a year as we've had in some years, but the story of this year for me is Rhiannon Good. She was hurt last year when she swam at state, had a big old knee brace on and still got 3rd. They found out she had an ACL and a torn meniscus, had to have surgery in August, came all the way back, still wearing that big old heavy knee brace, and got a 5th. So 2 top 5s while fighting through a cheer injury, but she was great. And then Audrey Apin had a fantastic career, multi-placer in 6A. She ended her career after the Centennial League meet this year, but you just really, really good kudos to her too. And Kaylin Girdle of Hayden is another that I think will be a really strong contender next year as a senior.
While we are talking about some end of season honors as well, let's get to some boys golf and a couple of very impressive outings for some local players, notably Caleb Cleverton. He got some run over at TopSports.news. Let's recap the end of the golf season as well, Pistol, and some of the headlines there.
Well, again, we weren't quite as strong as we have been in past years. We Care Paravel missed getting to the final day as a team by 2 strokes. Washburn Royals, they're year in and year out, and they didn't qualify this year. But, you had Caleb got 2nd in 2A, and you got Rossville multi-sport star Jack Donovan got 5th, I believe, in 2A. So there, we still had some stuff to feel good about.
Last couple of thoughts for Rick Peterson from TopSports.news, the number 1 source for all the best coverage of our local teams. Pistol joins us every week on Thursdays at this time for the local sports spotlight here on 580 Sports Talk. I'd be remiss if we didn't talk a little girls soccer here, Pistol. Shout out to the Washburn Rural girls as their season came to an end in the semifinals earlier this week, but another great run for Brian Hensel's group. But in 4A, 1A, the Hayden Lady Wildcats, 20-0. They're going for a state championship coming up, if I'm not mistaken, Saturday night down in Wichita. Yeah. They're taking on Rose Hill. That's going to be a fun game on the pitch on Saturday night.
Well, it was a really fun game yesterday, and I do want to point out that Washburn Rural did get beat 1-0 by Mill Valley. That they beat in penalty kicks last year in the state championship game, but they will play for 3rd place. The way it's set up now, if you lose in the semis, you'll still play for third in Wichita. But the game yesterday with Hayden and Bishop Miege was just fun to be a part of. That was two really good teams, and Hayden was able to end the Stags' 9-year state title string. And looking back, Hayden was the last team other than Miege to win a state title. So I would be shocked. Sorry, nothing against Rose Hill, but I would be shocked if Hayden doesn't win that title.
All right, last thing I've got for you, Pistol, if we can flip over to some college sports for just a moment as Washburn wraps things up. Men's tennis finishes the year 10th in the nation. Women's tennis 16th in the nation. That's become one of the powerhouse programs in the whole country, Pistol. And, man, just another great year for Kirby Roning's group.
Yeah, very good, and I don't think there's any reason to believe they won't continue, and probably get a little better. I mean, I think if depending on what they got back and what they can bring in, I think they're going to be year in and year out. And I tell you what, I think along those same lines, I think golf is on the rise too, and Ronnie McHenry's team, has been very good this year, and I think they'll continue to rise.
Last thing for you, I know you've been swamped and busy, but have you gotten a chance to check out the official transfer class for Laura Westling's Ichabod's women? It was announced a little bit earlier today. D1, D2, JUCO transfers all coming in. 5 new players officially announced today. Have you gotten a chance to look at Laura Westling's new additions?
I did. I looked at them today, and I looked at the stats and everything. They all look like they got good pedigree, and I just like the program she's building. It's going to be tough for them early because of the great players they lost. But I put a lot of trust in Laura and her staff, and I think they want to continue to keep taking steps.
Yeah, Coach had a quote in the official release from Washburn about, like, we want to keep this momentum going. Got to get some new pieces in there, but we don't want to step back. We want to keep this momentum going, and certainly will with some really talented veterans coming in. Rick Peterson, a veteran of the Topeka sports scene. You can find all his work over at TopSports.news. He joins us every Thursday at this time for the local sports spotlight on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits Hotline. Pistol, stay dry. Enjoy the weekend. We'll talk to you next Thursday.
Look forward to it.
That is the great Rick Peterson joining us here on 580 Sports Talk. We are going to get to a quick commercial break. We'll come on back, wrap up this 3 o'clock hour, get you ready for the 4 o'clock hour of 580 Sports Talk. Wrapping up this 3 o'clock hour of 580 Sports Talk. Brendan Dworzinski here with you. Spencer Dupuis is going to join us coming up at the top of the 4 o'clock hour. We've got plenty of Chiefs to get to next hour on the show. I don't ask for a lot this time anyway from a change in Chiefs play calling, but there is a note or two that I would really like to emphasize because I am sick of watching Patrick Mahomes have to do everything for this offense when he really shouldn't have to. So we'll get to that. We'll hear from Andy Reid next hour as well. Plus, we have your monthly semifinals for What Is Wrong With You. We will find our 2 finalists in the month of May. We got a play-in and then 2 semifinals. The Biscuit Bandit, fired up to return to jail. Free Wi-Fi, free-for-all. Can't Stop, Won't Stop Stealing from Walgreens, and Wade Mode. Those are the 5 semifinalists who are going at it today. We will find our monthly finalists coming up here at about 4:25, and our championship match for the month of May will be on tomorrow's show. Want to remind you that for just a couple more days, you should go check out my good friends at Calhoun's Jewelers. You've heard my story over the last couple of years about everything I've gone there for, even just stopping in to get the rings cleaned. The entire staff is absolutely fantastic. We get compliments on our stuff all the time. I can't say enough about the folks at Calhoun's. And now you have a chance to find something special for you or that special someone in your life with the Calhoun's Jewelers spring sale. It's only going on through the 31st. So you only have through this weekend, through Sunday, to go stop in at Calhoun's. The whole store is up to 60% off. The compliments are never going to end, but the sale will. So check them out, Calhoun's Jewelers, 1801 Southwest Gage Boulevard here in Topeka, or check them out online at calhounsjewelers.com. Again, we're talking plenty of Chiefs next hour. We're talking Chiefs and hearing from Patrick Mahomes in the 5 o'clock hour as well. Headlines, either or, over, under, and of course, What Is Wrong With You, all coming up here on 580 Sports Talk. Don't forget to check out the podcast live on Spotify and our website, 580wibw.com. Subscribe to the YouTube if you haven't already here at the top of the hour, and we'll join you on the other side of this break here on 580 WIBW and the Sports Voice of Kansas, 580 AM. Sports Talk coming your way. I'm Brendan Dworzinski. Joining me now, as promised, the one and only Spencer Dupuis on the other side of the glass. What's going on, buddy?
I'm just glad I popped myself in there because then the people couldn't hear us.
Oh, good call.
Yeah.
The way our audio is set up for the YouTube. That's Spencer, though. I'm Brendan. Dan Lucero is on assignment. We told him that the key to fixing the Colorado Avalanche was at the bottom of the Great Barrier Reef. So he is currently diving off the coast of Australia as we speak. Now we'll talk to Dan coming up on Monday. So just Spencer and I with you for the rest of the weekend. We thank you for joining us. However you are doing so today, whether that is on 580 AM across the state, 104.9 FM here in Topeka, online at 580WIBW.com, or in living color on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk on YouTube. Mark, Bill, Clayton, Christopher, everybody who's hanging out with Carl, everybody who's hanging out with us today in the YouTube feed. We thank you guys for spending some time with us. We got plenty of Chiefs to get to in this hour. Something that I saw online, a statistic this week, really got the juices flowing when it comes to how frustrated I am with this Chiefs offense, beyond the fact that they just don't have enough good wide receivers or pass catchers in general. We'll get to that. And minor changes to play calling and to play sequencing that I think could take this Chiefs offense to another level and would not require Patrick Mahomes to do everything for this team. We'll get to that coming up here in a little bit. We'll also hear from Andy Reid this hour, bottom of the hour, after What Is Wrong With You. Patrick Mahomes, we'll hear from him coming up in the 5 o'clock hour today after our 580 Sports Talk headlines. Just mentioned it, but we've got What Is Wrong With You coming up as well. A monthly semifinal matchup. 5 stories enter, just 2 will leave, and we'll move on to tomorrow's May finals, May championship round in What Is Wrong With You. Real quick, Spence, since you missed all the Royals chat in the first hour of the show, because I know you've been keeping up with the embarrassment, I guess, that has been the Royals in recent memory.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on the Royals getting outscored 22-1 the last 2 days?
I thought that we would hear something today. I really thought it was the breaking point.
Off day. Yeah. No, I hear you. Dan sent us a text yesterday, a little inside baseball here, said, if they fire him on my day off, I said it earlier. I don't think he's going to make it the year at this point. Speaking of Quattrero, and if Q is gone, Zumwalt's gone. Like, we all agree that, right? Like, they're not going to move Zumwalt to like be the acting manager.
I'm surprised that's not the move made today, only because of what you just said.
Yep.
They're being outscored. They're being out-hit. Yep. They're not hitting. Hitting's been a problem the entire year.
And I really have thought, and I shared this last hour, but I really have thought that Quattrero is going to try to, use the corpse of Alex Zumwalt's career as the last life raft possible, but we'll see. I don't know what their relationship is like, where the loyalty lies. I have no idea, but I don't think you're alone in feeling like we might have had some relieving of duties news today on the Kansas City Royals front. We'll talk some more Major League Baseball coming up during our headlines today. Some labor negotiation news for Major League Baseball. The players aren't going to like it, but we'll talk about that in headlines. The Royals themselves do not play. They are off today, back in action against the Rangers this weekend. But I wanted to get to the Kansas City Chiefs and the offense, which has been so frustrating recently. We talked last week on the show about whether or not Stephon Diggs made sense for this team to bring in as another pass catcher. I still think he would. I know you'd have to figure out the money. Yesterday, I know you guys talked about this. They converted George Karlaftis, some of his salary to signing bonus, all that stuff. I think that was to clear room for the first-round picks. I think that's what that was to take care of, getting Mansour Delane and Peter Woods under contract.
Still get 4.4, though, so that helps somewhere.
You can use that somewhere. You can still restructure Chris Jones if you want. I don't know if they want to be frank, but you can do that.
You can cut Christian Fulton post-June 1.
Could do something like that. Did you know Chris Jones, by the way, has the 5th biggest cap hit in football?
Not surprised.
He's the only quarterback in the top 8, I believe, maybe the top 10. Yeah, only non-quarterback.
That's
that
crazy.
High. Isn't that crazy? TJ Watt, the next highest for a non-quarterback. But anyway, I understand. I would love to go get Stephon Diggs, but I also understand what Matt Verderame said on Tuesday when he spoke to Dan, our pal from Sports Illustrated, and said, look, you've already got one guy who you have to worry about in the receiver room off the field in Rashee Rice. Do you really want another one with Stephon Diggs? And I do understand that. And he said, well, you could do Keenan Allen or Deebo Samuel. Given the choice between the two, okay, Keenan Allen, sure, I could live with that. Wouldn't be my top choice, but I could live with that. Okay, fine. I still think this team is short a pass catcher, whether that's tight end, whether that is wide receiver, whatever. Now, I listen to a lot of NFL talk and podcasts and stuff over the course of the week. That's where I find, from a national perspective, there's better discussion about the league than, like, NFL Live is fine, but like, oh, let's turn on morning programming on ESPN. Nope, they're just yelling at me about the Cowboys in May. Like, nope, can't do it. I'm not doing it. The podcast space from a national perspective is where I like to go for this. But I've heard a lot of shows, a lot of guests, a lot of hosts who have said they don't really understand the Kenneth Walker thing. Like, did you really need to spend that much money? We don't need to completely relitigate this at this point. But guys,
the answer is yes.
Go look at the Chiefs' explosive play rate. Go look at the running back room. Isaiah Pacheco was not bad last year, Spencer. He was awful last year. Kareem Hunt could do one thing, and he did that thing well.
Yeah.
If it was
when asked,
third or fourth and 2 or shorter, hand him the ball. It was more effective statistically than the tush push last year. That is a fact. Hey, Kareem, can you get 4 yards? Nope. Sorry, boss. Can't do it.
Look, I think the whole thing, like, taking that weight off the shoulders of Mahomes for him to ease things back in, I think that's going to be the biggest part of this signing. Is everybody knows Patrick Mahomes can do the things that he can do. Well, he doesn't necessarily have to coming back from this knee injury. Yeah, he says he's plans to be ready for week 1, this, that, and the other. If he plays no matter what, you don't want him doing everything, having to be that guy right away, because you want to have an identity. And if you can establish the identity of your football team as a more balanced, maybe not even balanced, but maybe the first couple of weeks, you're run heavy as he eases back in. And then, boom, they've got to respect the run, and it opens up plays downfield because nobody's been wide enough. They haven't gotten receivers. What's the word I'm trying?
Separated.
The separation hasn't been there because guess what? Everybody knows they're going deep.
So with that in mind, I think if you're not going to go out and add someone else, even if you do at this point, frankly, I think this team needs to put an extra emphasis on Kenneth Walker.
Yeah.
Now, I said it last week when we talked about this. I like this running back room even before they take the field. I like this 3-man running back room better than I like the one at the end of last year. I don't know that Brashard Smith's making the team this year. Maybe he does as a kick returner, as Dan talked about. But you go from Pacheco and Brashard Smith and Kareem Hunt, who's effectively a short yardage fullback at this point, to Kenneth Walker, you draft Emmett Johnson, and you also sign Emery DeMercado. I like that room quite a bit. It's not the best room in the league. Maybe it's not even a top 10 room in the league, but you know what it is? Respectable. You've got a home run threat. I like Emmett Johnson. 5th-round pick for a guy who could be your running back too. DeMercado is fine as a change of pace guy. I really like that group, especially relative to last year. And I think there is an argument to be made that the biggest X factor for this Chiefs offense is going to be Kenneth Walker, but I don't even think that that's necessarily because of his just God-given talent and production. You paid him real money, enough real money that, again, analysts and hosts and whoever, media members around the league said, like, whoa, they gave him a lot of money. Yeah, they paid him market value to come to Kansas City. So use him. Give him a real workload. Give him a workload that is commensurate with what he is doing or what he is getting paid and how he should be contributing on the field. To break this down, okay, last year the Chiefs were 27th in the NFL in run rate. How often you run versus how often you pass. There were only 5 teams that ran the ball less often than them. Let me see if you can pull the common thread at these 5 teams. New Orleans, Las Vegas, Tennessee, Cincinnati, Arizona. Those are the only teams that ran the ball less often than the Chiefs last year. You know what the common thread is with those 5 teams? They sucked. They were behind all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. In recent years, and I went back to 2022 for this, because that, to me, I still think that's the most impressive Super Bowl run of Patrick Mahomes' career, given how, everybody thought the team was going to fall apart without Tyreek Hill. They had to change how they were playing. It was after the spamming of cover 2 against them the year before, etc. So that's why I went back to 2022. Since then, the Chiefs, 27th last year in run rate, 24th the year before in 2024, 28th in 2023, and 29th in 2022. They don't run it. I understand that Andy Reid is not going to run the ball a ton. Chiefs always are going to pass a lot. You're never right about this. All the times you said this before. You've been here for 9 years and keep saying this is never going to happen. Why do you keep beating this dead horse? Okay. Well, one, even though the Chiefs offense statistically was pretty good last year, DVOA, we use that stat a lot. It's about offensive efficiency adjusted for opponent. They were 12th in the NFL last year, and it was awful to watch. Did you have fun watching the Chiefs offense last year, Spencer?
No. And I got to watch it twice in person.
And still top 12 in the NFL last year, despite being hideous with no ability to generate explosive plays. None whatsoever. So that, to me, is why I do continue to beat this dead horse. Because look at the receiver room still. And look at who, outside of a Mahomes scramble, is the best option you've got to break off an explosive play with the ball in his hands. And that is having the ball to Kenneth Walker. I'm not asking for the Chiefs to run like the 49ers do. I'm not asking for the Chiefs to run like the Packers do or some of these teams that just run all the time. Some of the teams that are near the top of the league, a 55-45 split in terms of run versus pass. I'm asking for a couple more designed runs a game. Be up around like 21st in the league because that guy is going to be your best option. And yes, do the Chiefs do, they do the RPO stuff. That's so antiquated at this point. It is so extremely mid-2010s at this point. And a lot of the success they've still had while running that crap is because you've got Superman mixed with Spider-Man, mixed with the Hulk, mixed with whatever other superhero you want to throw in at quarterback. Here's the other statistic, and the one that really got me thinking about this. And this ties back into play calling, which I originally brought up. And again, just a few more runs a game. But I saw this last week, and I ran into Dan's office to tell him this because I was so fired up about it. So the website Stick to the Model, it's a bunch of NFL analytical stuff. They put out on Twitter, X, the former Bird app, the Everything app, whatever you want to call it, the rankings 1 through 32 of play action rate. How often you ran play action last season in the NFL. The Chiefs were dead last by a considerable amount, even from 31st. They were dead last in play action. And again, that doesn't include the RPO stuff. Stop running a 2017 offense, okay? It's 2026, all right? So true play action, dead last in the league. And they finished again, where, Spencer? 12th in offensive efficiency. For comparison's sake, 9 of the top 10 offenses in DVOA last year were in the top half of the league in play action. The only one that wasn't was San Francisco. They were 19th. 9 of the top 10 offenses in the league were in the top half of play action rate. 7 of the top 10 offenses were in the top 10 of play action rate. So the Chiefs, despite getting nothing from their running game and not even giving it a chance, which to a degree I can understand considering how freaking bad the running back room was just talent-wise. And despite not using any play action, which again, there is evidence. There is a mountain of evidence out there that even if your running backs are bad, play action works.
Yeah.
The Chiefs don't do it and still had the 12th best offense in the league last year. That's a Patrick Mahomes stat to me. That is saying that despite not getting, your coach is not using the cheat code, right? You're playing the old Grand Theft Auto games. Like, I don't really want to play story mode. Like, I just want you to give me all the cool guns in the tank, and I just want to, go have fun with it. Andy Reid has that. He has the code, and he won't dial it in on the controller. He's like, nah, Pat, you go do your thing. Go work on this. No help from the running game. No help from play action, which every other quarterback in the league is able to make good use of. And still a top 12 offense. That brings me to my overall point here. You don't need to make Patrick Mahomes play the role of Sisyphus. You don't need him to be pushing the boulder for eternity up the hill. this superhuman strength in terms of quarterback play, and he's always trying to fight against something. You can make it easier on him. And the front office has elected not to in terms of pass catchers because the tight end room is not great and getting old. The wide receiver room is not great. You heard me talk about him last week. I don't have a lot of faith in anyone in that. I think Tyquan Thornton's the guy I can trust the most, and that is terrifying. So if that's not going to happen, sprinkle something else in just to take a little pressure off of 15, a little bit. I'm not asking for them to be the number one play action team in the league. I'm not asking for the Chiefs to come out in an offset eye 36 snaps a game and to be doing inside dive right, inside dive left over and over. I'm not asking for that. I'm asking for 2 to 3 snaps of play action more per game to open up the ability to get someone a one-on-one deep, to pull a linebacker in and to get a deep in opened up down the field 10 to 20 yards. That's all I'm asking for. And I think with just a little tweak like that, I don't think that's a huge ask. You can take a team that was awful to watch but still efficient and turn them into a legitimate top 5 to 7 offense next year. Yeah. I don't think that's that much to ask. Maybe it is because it's Andy Reid. But, like, you don't – I saw this, man. I saw this for so many years in Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers. And Rodgers got to play with Devontae Adams, who I think should be a Hall of Famer. 3 first-team All-Pros in a row. Not many guys in NFL history can say that. So he had Adams. But you know what he had at tight end? Nothing. You know what else he had at wide receiver? Geronimo Allison and Jared Abbrederis some of those years. Like, get him some help. You don't, just because your quarterback can do everything doesn't mean that week to week you want them doing everything. We had a message on YouTube from earlier in the show today. It was from Carl, who said, first, I don't think the Chiefs are winning the division. It's another year when Mahomes will have to be magical. That's what Carl said all the way back early when we were previewing on the show. It shouldn't have to be like that. That is my overall point here. It should not be the Mahomes show, put on your cape and save us. You can do a little bit more to give him an assist, and it's disappointing to me, Spencer, that the Chiefs have not done enough of that.
Yeah, and I think that's the wild thing to think about. Like, this is your time to go break records for championships. Mm-hmm. This is your time to your window, right? They always say this team has a championship window. You have a championship window, and why aren't you giving the pieces to the guy that is the reason you have the championship window? Like, I will never understand. Just like your Packers metaphor when you're talking about that, like, it was always, why didn't the Packers draft a wide receiver in the first round? Oh, he's gone. Now they draft a receiver in the first. Like, that's always, like, you have the opportunity. It's right in front of you. Just give the guy the kitchen.
And that's the thing, too.
The thing's in the kitchen.
We always hear with a young quarterback, we want to give them as many weapons as we can so we will know for sure whether they can cut it or not.
Yeah.
Bryce Young in Carolina, they drafted back-to-back first-round wide receivers. They went first-round offensive tackle this year, took another receiver later on. They've put money into their tight end room. They have done everything. And they've said, all right, Bryce, we picked up your fifth-year option. We've gotten you pass catchers. We've beefed up our offensive line. We paid way more money than we should have for a couple of guards because you're little and your balls get knocked down all the time. There is no excuse. We hear that all the time with young quarterbacks. Let's help them out with these guys as much as possible. It does not just have to be young guys. You can help older quarterbacks as well. This was not planned. This is complete luck. But Cody Alexander, he runs a website called Match Quarters. He does a lot of scheme, X's and O's. Not as much an analytics guy, but he's a tape guy, right? He put a clip from his podcast. It's called Let's Talk Ball. And in the preview for it, Play Action drops a defense's pass rush grade. I assume he's using Pro Football Focus here. Drops the defense's pass grade by 5 points with just a fake handoff. That's it. That's exclusive to just a run fake. You don't have to have a good running back, a bad running back, good rushing strategy, bad rushing strategy. You just fake a handoff, and immediately you are neutralizing a pass rush. You're taking linebackers out of position. You're freezing safeties, and the Chiefs just won't do it. I understand Reid is going to do his thing, and that's why I'm not saying I want the Chiefs to be the number one PA team in the league. I don't want them to be the number one running team in the league, because then you're taking the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hands. I get that. But to do anything to give him a boost is going to help this offense. It's going to help your quarterback. And especially to your point, I think you're spot on, Spencer, early in the year when he's getting his legs back under him, that's going to be extremely important. We're going to hear from Andy Reid coming up later on this hour. But next, on the other side of this break, it is the May semifinals for What Is Wrong With You here on 580 Sports Talk. It is time to narrow down our semifinalists in What Is Wrong With You for the month of May, down to just two finalists who will go head-to-head tomorrow at this time for the May championship. Brendan and Spencer here with you. All right, Spencer, are you ready for our semifinals?
Let's go.
All right, we've got the play-in game first. Our play-in matchup, we start with the Biscuit Bandit, gentleman who broke into Popeyes at 5 a.m. and, he started cooking. He's being hunted across North Carolina.
They haven't found him yet.
They still haven't found him. It's a week later. Happened back last Thursday at 5 a.m. on Westgate City Boulevard in Greensboro, North Carolina. And he managed to get in and get out before the staff ended up showing up. Look, man, I get it. I like the Popeyes biscuits, frankly. That goes up against Fired Up to Return to Jail, a man out in Boulder, Colorado, who stole a fire engine right after he was released from jail. This is, if I'm not mistaken, from the first short week in the month of May. Got out of prison, stole a fire truck. He is, you'll never believe it, going back to jail.
These are two crazy stories, man. I was telling Dan yesterday, we kind of I got to this point, like, if this guy went into a Popeyes, because this was yesterday's winner, or the short week winner this week, if you just went into a Popeyes and started cooking, this Biscuit Bandit had to have worked in a commercial kitchen before to know where, like, I wouldn't know how to turn on a fryer or a, whatever. Like, this guy's worked in a commercial kitchen before.
That's a fair point. So I'm going to vote here for Fired Up to Return to Jail.
Yeah, I'll vote with that too.
And the big reason why I'm not going back to jail, like, other guy was hungry.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it. Wow, I'm out of jail. You know what'll be great? Going back. Nope, I'm good. Pass on jail, always. I'm not going to jail for any reason. So that gets my vote. You too?
Yeah.
All right. So that one moves on to our semifinal matchup. It will be Fired Up to Return to Jail versus the free Wi-Fi free-for-all. Man was accused of attacking two people with a bat after they turned off their Wi-Fi. Why would that matter to him? Oh, yeah, he was stealing it. 44 years old, Jonathan Gross went to his neighbor's apartment, just threatened to kill them if they didn't get their internet working by the time he got back to his room. One of the victims was able to get away during the assault and called the cops. Deputies found a woman sitting outside bleeding from her head when they arrived. Gross was in a bedroom inside the residence. They tried to get him out several times. Finally, the cops went in and took him into custody. 2 counts of attempted murder and second-degree disorderly conduct, 2 counts of third-degree terroristic threatening, and you'll never believe it, alcohol intoxication. All because they turned off the Wi-Fi that he was stealing from them. I'm going to vote for this one without a second thought. This one was so good that I thought I was bringing it to the show one day, only to find out Dan already had it, which usually tells you how good a story is.
Yeah,
this is an easy winner for me.
Yeah.
I do like the other story. It's good. This is outrageous. I think that one's the favorite to win the month. I'll just tell you that right now. All right. So the free Wi-Fi free-for-all, it is moving on to the finals. Our second semifinal here, Spencer. Can't stop, won't stop stealing from Walgreens. From San Francisco, California, where the San Francisco PD Organized Retail Crime Task Force, what a name, announced the arrests and charges against 5 individuals who were accused of a prolific retail thievery ring in the city. The most prolific of the group is 24-year-old Tyrese Boswell, who targeted 2 Walgreens on 27 locations, stealing nearly $40,000 in cosmetics and other merchandise. He was originally arrested on Christmas Eve after the 18th time that he robbed the Walgreens in North Beach, California. Just knocked it over. Now, I've shared this, I think, on the show before. There was a convenience store, not in my hometown, just one town over. And I knew kids who went and shoplifted there like every week. And always went back and just knocked the place over. Never anything major. There's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to take a couple candy bars. I'm going to take some chips. And just like would walk out with it and they never stopped them. I don't know why, like what would possess you to do that, but they did it. They were taking like $7 worth of merchandise at a time. Not 27 robberies for $40,000 of merchandise.
There was a 7-Eleven across the street from the dorms on campus, and it would get robbed all the time. So it was robbed like 3 times in a semester.
Now, I would like to clarify, I am not condoning this behavior.
No,
not
neither.
condoning.
Everybody thought it was an inside job because the same like. It seemed like the same guy was always working because it was always around the same time.
That's funny.
They shut it down. Now it's Dunkin' Donuts.
There you go. Does it get robbed all the time?
No.
All right. Good move going over to Dunkin' Donuts. All right. And then our final semifinalist, Wade Mode. The man in Grapevine, Texas, who is facing a charge of illegal boating after he purposely drove his Tesla Cybertruck into a lake to test out its Wade Mode feature. Officers with the Grapevine PD responded back on May 20th to a boat ramp at Grapevine Lake where they found the Cybertruck in the water. Police say the driver admitted to purposefully driving into the lake to test out the Wade Mode feature, which supposedly lets a Cybertruck drive through shallow rivers or creeks. It did not work so well because he got so deep into the water that the car became disabled and started flowing in.
A maximum depth of 32 inches is how far you can go into the water.
So not quite 3 feet.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, this guy was up to his windows in water.
Yeah. I have to vote for this one, not only because I brought this story, but the amount of Wade jokes that Dan brought to the show as it became the weekly winner every day.
This to me, occasionally we end up with a month where it's just so obvious who's going to win. To me, this is a month where we had 2 obvious finalists.
Yeah.
Like we were always destined for this matchup. So it is going to, and that's your vote to the Wade Mode. Wade Mode versus the free Wi-Fi free-for-all. That is our monthly championship for May in What Is Wrong With You. That's always how it should have gone. I think we got the right too. Coming up on the other side of this break, Andy Reid spoke at Chiefs OTAs today. We'll hear from Big Red after this on 580 Sports Talk. OTAs are underway for the Kansas City Chiefs, and that means we get to hear from the players and the coaches. How about that? How special is that? That includes Big Red head coach Andy Reid. He spoke to the media today at Chiefs OTAs in Kansas City, so let's hear from Big Red and his media availability.
Again, this is phase 3, just to reiterate. It's a voluntary camp. We've been lucky, though. We've had great success with people showing up, and everybody's been here somewhere along the line doing their thing, and that's a positive. So look forward to just keep getting better within the rules that we're given. There's no contact and so on, so you guys kind of know how that rolls. But you still get a lot of work done, and I like the way our guys are going about it, especially our young guys. They're great introduction for them as they get into this. As far as Rasheed goes, we're aware of the situation. The league's aware of it. We've talked to the league. We get it. And as far as any further ado to that, there's been no talk about anything further. We're moving forward just normal as we go here. When he gets back, we got to get him caught up and doing what he needs to do. But again, and then, to make sure he gets it. It's not an easy thing he's going through. So life lessons are important, but we're all given chances to learn. And so he's in that position now. I think I've covered it. You guys, time's yours.
Question, Coach. Just following up on that. Do you and does the team do you still trust Rasheed with his judgment making?
Yeah, I was just going to leave it with what I said there. Yeah, I mean, I know lessons can be learned, and that's important.
Regarding the knee with Rasheed and not the off the field issues, how did that cleanup procedure, and do you expect to be ready by camp?
Yeah, so we think he'll be ready for camp as we go forward. We'll just see how it goes. He's been in communication with Rick, and he knows the rehab that he can do there, and I think they're keeping an eye on him, as far as any possible infection goes.
Speaking about potentially being ready for camp, obviously the big one, Patrick Mahomes, 2 days of workouts on the field out there. How's he looking to you, and how encouraged are you by his progress?
Yeah, Herbie, I like what I've seen. He's working hard. This is good for him. I mean, getting out there and throwing, it's good rehab as he, continued rehab. So he keeps a feel with the receivers where he's doing partial practice but it's important. It's important to keep his timing up, and he's busted his tail to put himself in this position. Most guys wouldn't even be able to do this, but he's put himself in that position. And I know we've got good communication with the doctors, and they keep a close eye on it and what's real and what's not real. So, and then we listen to them.
To finish up injuries, Hicks and Worthy were non-contact, and Norman Lott with that helmet. I was wondering if there's updates on each guy.
Yeah, I normally don't do injuries during this, so but they had a procedure done, so we keep them where their doctors want them, non-contact.
Yeah, I know we've asked before a little bit about some of the new, or in Eric's case, and Old Face coming back, but some of the new offensive coaches. Now you've had a little bit more time with him. You've seen some more stuff on the field. So what are your thoughts about kind of what they bring? And it's different, better, whatever.
Yeah. No, listen, I like the old coaches' good job too, so I don't want to slight them, but it's good to have these guys in there. They've got some experience at their spots, and they're challenging the guys with fundamentals and techniques, the thing they can get done now. DeMarco's case, he's been there as a player. He's got a good relationship with EB. EB also, knows that spot like the back of his hand. So, and then as far as Chad goes, Chad is got 24 years in this league, so he's got a lot of experience and coached a lot of really good players, and so it's good to have him in that spot in that room. And then EB brings great energy. I mean, he knows everything. He's got it all down, and he can coach any spot, and he does a great job.
Andy, for this week's practices, did you feel like there was anything you had to do to adjust for Patrick's participation, and just what was the thought process of just not having him a part of it?
Yeah, Nate, so we just keep
the team portion.
Yeah, we just keep him out of the team portion. Other than that, he's doing a good job with everything else. So he can travel under center as long as I just don't want him in any area where there might be a sweep coming, the jet sweep action or something of that sort. So we've got to keep him out of those situations.
How beneficial is this week for Xavier? Even though he had the procedure, how beneficial is it for him?
Yeah, you know what? He's really doing a nice job. It's great for him to be able to detail things, and he's working like crazy at it. And I think he feels more comfortable now. He had a couple things cleaned out there, so he's feeling good about that, and I think he's in a good spot. We just don't want to take any steps back.
Andy, progress report just on two guys, Chipotle and Jalen Roy. Just what you've seen from them.
Yeah, so they're rotating in with the first group, and with Rasheed not here, it gives Jalen some great reps. At the wide receiver position, strong. He looks strong out here and running well and that whole deal. So it's good. It's great for him. It's great for him to and the quarterbacks to see what he's all about on repeated reps. Issa, you can tell he really worked this off season, and he looks strong out there. He's a smart kid. When you get to know him, he doesn't have a ton of experience, but he's a smart kid, and he gets it. So he's getting reps in there with the starters and kind of rotating in. Andy does a nice job of rotating those guys at guard and tackle. So.
We'll go around the room here. Let's start with Vi. Go ahead, Vi.
Andy, I'm sure you're not surprised by Patrick's determination to get back, but I wonder if you thought he'd be this advanced in those first few days after the injury.
Yeah, I don't put anything past him, so I don't want to tell you. And I think everybody's different in how you go about, you approach it, and so but I wouldn't put it past where he's at, and I don't judge it. I just people say, is he ahead of schedule? And I'm not like, who made the schedule, right? So everybody's different, and so the way he goes about it is different. He and Julie have spent a ton of time working together, and she's tough on him now. I mean, she puts him puts him through the ropes there. So, and he's willing to come back. Half the battle, I think, on that, besides the healing part, right? Half the battle is trusting the person that's doing the rehab with you, and then showing up the next day. And it doesn't necessarily feel good, but if you keep coming, it works out okay.
And you feel like he's learned or been disciplined about the restraint he needs? I mean, because I'm sure it's tempting for him to overdo it.
Yeah, because she gauges that, so she knows when to back him down, and I mean, he'll stay here and do anything. So she knows how to gauge him and what to do with him. He misses nothing. He saw Matt out there with a boot on. He right away, huh? he was worried about you.
Harold.
Rookies had their own spot, but now they're kind of ingraining themselves with the veterans. How do you think that's progressed? And also, Kenneth Walker, how do you feel he's just fitting into the fold?
Yeah, you know what? He's doing a good job. He's got a ton of energy, and you can tell he loves to play the game, wants to learn what we're doing here. He's coming from a great program, so he gets that it takes work to be good, and he's willing to do that. Stronger than Knox. I mean, he's put together now.
Also, with the rookies ingraining themselves with the veterans, how's that process?
Yeah, it's been good. It's a good rookie class, it looks like. So they're able to. They've got an aptitude to them where you can tell them something once and they get it, as opposed to having to repeat and repeat and repeat. So they seem to be pretty sharp kids.
Nick.
Yeah, Andy, when you look at the running back room collectively, what's kind of stood out and jumped out at you through the first 3 days?
Yeah, you've got that. You've got a nice mix of a couple of veteran guys that have been there, done it, and then you got this influx of young guys that are just eager and to learn. And I think that's healthy. So there's going to be pretty good competition, I think, amongst those guys for that final roster spot there.
Herbie?
Coach, with Mahomes not working in the team, you're getting a really good look at Justin Fields with the first team. What are some of your impressions so far? Has he done anything that surprises you?
Yeah, very smart and a hard worker and very calm. Like he's a cool cucumber, man, right? He gets it. He's been there. You can tell he's been there. Again, he's trying to work on all the ball actions that we're doing, play action stuff that we're doing that might be a little bit different. Some of the drops, trying to fit him in with the receivers. He doesn't know all these receivers yet, so he's getting to know these guys, and so he can stay on time with them. But I like what I see. Extremely smart, though. I mean, he's sharp.
Sam?
Yeah, a couple things. I don't want to assume anything based on your opening statement, but your anticipation is that Rashi's not going to be facing any discipline. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, we don't know that. I know he's done some things already that he's got to take care of, so that we're giving to him. But I haven't heard anything. No, we're kind of moving forward.
And then the second thing is with some of the coaches, and not a commentary on last year's coaches, but Chad seems to have a lot of energy out there, and obviously he needs energy. Do you feel that at practice every day?
Yeah, you notice it. Yeah, I think they love what they're doing. I think all of them they love what they're doing, and they're not afraid to express that. The players feel it. I think that's healthy, and I think that discipline on offense is very, very important. That you maintain that and incorporate that into the structure of what you're doing as far as running plays.
The last three, Steve, go ahead. Oh, you good? Right there.
Coach, well, going back to the rookies, Cyrus Allen in particular, I believe was an offense. Talking to him before the draft, he said he is someone who wants to make sure he knows the X, Y, and Z position. Obviously, with the reps that he's able to get now, what have you seen from him thus far?
Yeah,
the retention of the rookies with the playbook.
He's doing a nice job with that, actually. So it's a good question. He's got a good feel for the three spots there, from whether it's inside or the two outside spots, and the Y is the tight end, by the way. Just make sure. All right. Detail your work, man. Zebra is the inside guy. All right. So yeah. All right. Well, he's doing a nice job with it.
Nate?
Andy, when you guys aren't on the practice field before this week, you talked before about the participation obviously being high. Just what have you noticed from your core leaders, Chris, Travis, Patrick, about what they're trying to imprint to the rest of the guys for this upcoming season?
Yeah. Nick Bolton, another one. I mean, these guys that have been there and done it. Drew is part of that too. He's been around a long time. So, and there are others, Creed and Trey. I mean, they know what it takes and the discipline that it takes. So, between all those guys, they're not afraid to express that and work, get them to continue to work.
Last one, Neil Jones.
Coach, how has OTAs changed for you guys over the years? And has this one got a little more juice because of the way last year ended?
I don't know. I think they've all, when they come back, they're always a little bit juiced up for phase 3, beginning of phase 3. I've liked the turnout we've had. It's probably one of the better turnouts we've had. So that's important. And, I like that energy. And I don't know if I don't harp on last year and all that. That's past. We're moving forward. You learn from it and you go. One great thing about the NFL, man, is every year is a little bit different, and you better approach it that way and maximize yourself for that year.
So that is Andy Reid, Big Red, speaking earlier today at Chiefs OTAs. When we come back on the other side of this commercial break, I want to note something he said there at the end about good attendance, because a certain star quarterback in the AFC West was not at the start of the offseason program for his team, and his coach was cool with it. The rest of the football world, not so cool with it. We're going to get my thoughts and Spencer's thoughts on Justin Herbert on the other side of this break here on 580 Sports Talk. Brendan and Spencer here, wrapping up this 4 o'clock hour of 580 Sports Talk. Andy Reid just mentioned, as we heard, that the Chiefs have had great attendance at OTAs. Now, Justin Herbert is back with the Chargers, but missed 2 weeks of the offseason program. He went to Europe with his girlfriend, Madison Beer. I guess she was on a tour. She's a musical artist. I've never heard a song of hers, but I know she's famous for that.
I just thought she was an influencer, to be honest with you.
I kind of did too. Jim Harbaugh said he was cool with it. If you were a Chargers fan, would you be cool with that?
No.
I I kind of agree. I know that's like the old school take. I kind of agree.
You are the franchise quarterback, quote unquote. Like, you have to be there for your team. Yep. And if not, you do something else. Like, we know Patrick Mahomes, when healthy, he goes down to Texas, has his receivers come down to Texas, like that kind of thing. But guess what? That didn't happen. He just went to Europe.
I know that they are voluntary. Okay, like I get it. And if you say it's voluntary, then you cannot force anyone into doing it. I am of the belief that it's just personal thought, and I never played in the NFL, so who gives a what I think. But it's voluntary for everyone except the quarterbacks, because the quarterback is different. That's more than just your run-of-the-mill player. Carl in the YouTube comments, he disagrees. He says, hey, we're still months from the preseason. Who cares? Totally fair. I know it's an antiquated take, but I'm with you. Like, now your quarterback's got to be there. That's the face of the franchise. I think he's got to be there. I was visiting my friends over at Eagle Auto Wash earlier today. Saw Shelby, saw Tom, saw the whole gang over there. Not a lot of car washing going on today because of the rain, but you know what rain means? Mud and dirt and gross stuff all over. It's going to get on your car. And the next time you need that car washed, go visit my friends at Eagle Auto Wash. Their express wash, 10 minutes. You're in your car the whole time. You're in, you're out. Beautiful work on your car. Exactly what you need. They're going to do it for you. And their prices are up to half as much as the competition. So go visit my friends at Eagle Auto Wash and soar with the Eagle. Locally owned here in Topeka since 1987. We'll get to the news and some ads at the top of the hour. We'll come on back, start off the 5 o'clock hour with headlines. We've got Mahomes. We got either or over under. It's coming up after the news, 580 WIBW. now, final hour of 580 Sports Talk coming your way on this Thursday, May 28th. I'm Brendan Dworzinski. That is Spencer Dupuis. We are here with you until 6 o'clock today. Dan Lucero is off. He heard that Seahawks great Lofa Tatupu was doing an autograph signing back in Tacoma, Washington, so Dan went.
Yeah, big trip.
That one wasn't as good as diving into the Great Barrier Reef to go find what will fix the avalanche. I'll try to come up with some more good ones tomorrow. But Dan is off, taking some family time this long weekend. We'll join him again on Monday. He'll join us, I should say, on Monday. So it's just Spencer and I the rest of the way today and the rest of the way this weekend, or this week, I should say. Coming up in this 5 o'clock hour, we've got 580 Sports Talk headlines. We got a bunch of them today. We'll also hear from Patrick Mahomes, and we'll play a little either or over under as well. Plus, we want to hear from you either on the text line, 785-272-9429 is that text line number, or you can hit us up on YouTube. Just go over to youtube.com, search 580 Sports Talk, and make sure that you subscribe to the channel, leave us a comment, tell us you're watching the show, whatever it might be. Hang out with us watching the video stream of the show today. Appreciate everyone who's watching along on YouTube, listening wherever you might be, 580 AM, 104.9 FM, and online at 580WIBW.com. Spence, we've got plenty of headlines. Should we dive right on in?
Let's do it.
All right, our first one today, teased this a little bit at the top of the show while we were singing a dirge for the depressing Kansas City Royals. But as the negotiations for a new collective bargaining agreement have begun in Major League Baseball, I know you guys touched on the start of them yesterday here in headlines. From Jesse Rogers of ESPN earlier today, we got numbers. We got some data. The first proposal from the Major League Baseball owners, the league itself, to the Players Association for a hard salary cap. So this is one of probably the biggest, I'd say it's arguably the biggest, thing that is going to be a sticking point, a point of contention, an argument during these negotiations is a salary cap. And Major League Baseball wanting to institute a cap and subsequently a floor. So teams have to spend a certain amount, but you can't spend over another certain amount, just like you would have in the NFL, just like you would have in the NHL, just like you would have in the NBA. Now, I can't speak to the NHL because I don't follow the league. My understanding, though, is that that's a hard cap. Like, there are long-term IR is a different thing, but like you get $100 million cap and you don't go over it. There's no exceptions. That just is what it is. That's more or less right. Correct. I mean, it might be more than 100, but you know what?
Whatever the cap is, and the long-term IR players don't count against the cap. But if you bring them back, then you have to clear that cap space.
Yes.
In order to even have them back on the roster.
Yes, several teams in recent memory have abused that rule, one of them being the Chicago Blackhawks near the end of their dynasty years. But the NFL is a hard cap, but there are some exceptions. Cap space can roll over from year to year. There are certain exceptions you get. Some guys don't count, international pathway players. They don't count against the salary cap. Different times of the year, you can have different guys on your roster, et cetera, et cetera. But for the most part, that's a hard cap. Basketball is a soft cap, mostly, because there's all sorts of exceptions, and there's bird rights, and you got all these other things, and you get...
And if you use too much, though, you pay luxury tax.
Yes, and that's why basketball has become almost the most hard cap of them all, despite technically being a soft cap, because if you're over that second apron for multiple seasons, you're screwed, because you can't do anything. So that is a quote-unquote soft salary cap, but it's also the most punitive of any of them. Baseball, as far as we know, I don't have any other details beyond what Jesse Rogers reported today, but here's the number you can go up to, here's the number you have to clear, that's it. The initial proposal is a salary cap of $245.3 million. The floor, $171.2 million. For comparison, we'll talk NFL here because that's what everyone can compare to and what most people, I think, have the best grasp of, even if we don't all know how the accounting works with it. The NFL salary cap for this year is $301.2 million. The floor isn't a number. It's not like a set number. It's a percentage of the cap. So the salary floor in the NFL is 89% of the cap. So you're looking at it's 260-ish, I believe, this year. And again, there's some exceptions here and there. This MLB proposal, the floor is actually just about 70% of what the cap is. So there's a little bit more wiggle room there. The proposal also, according to Jesse Rogers of ESPN, this is based on 2026 payrolls, means that 12 teams would have to increase spending just to get to the salary floor. Meanwhile, 8 teams would have to shed payroll to get under the salary cap. The league's proposal includes a 50-50 split of revenues between players and ownership, as well as all revenue from local media, which would become centralized. So like the Royals have, MLB produces the Royals broadcast. MLB would take over all these things, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of details we've been over here and there. As revenues go up, so does the cap, just like the NFL. That's why the NFL cap goes up year after year. In the NFL, players only get 48.5% of the revenue. Not a good deal. In Major League Baseball, the proposal is a 50-50 split. Here's the cap, and it'll go up proportionally with our revenue year over year. The players are not going to accept this. In fact, I can tell you this, Spencer. We already have a rebuttal from just about an hour ago, maybe an hour and a half ago, from the Players Association. Let me pull this up. Again, it is from Jesse Rogers of ESPN. Their response here. Let me see. Here we go. The owners responded today with a demand for a salary cap system, something generations of players have fought against. The last time the owners made such an explicit push for a cap, over 30 years ago, it led to the longest work stoppage in MLB history. 1994, it canceled the World Series, etc. For generations, our members have fought against cap systems because they harm players at all levels, erode or eliminate contractual guarantees, pit player against player, lead to more work stoppages, not less, and get worse for players over time. Caps don't lower ticket prices for fans, eliminate tanking, or ensure teams are run with equal competence. That part, just a quick aside, whether it's right or wrong to put a cap in, that part is absolutely correct. NFL and NBA prices, insane. Tanking, go look at the NBA standings from this year. Running with equal competence, go talk to the Cleveland Browns. So that part is true. Additionally, from the MLBPA, they suffocate competition by offering owners an all-purpose excuse for inaction and mediocrity. They go on to add, billionaire owners are not seeking to cap their profits or asset values, only player salaries. That part's also true. This isn't out of generosity or a desire to protect the game's well-being. It's a play to control costs, increase profits, and maximize franchise values. So I am going to play the middleman here. I'm going to be on the fence about this just for the sake of continuing the discussion, all right? It is a ploy to control costs. I do believe that is true. And yeah, you're right. They're not going to cap their profits. That's just, hey, what we're paying them, we're going to cap it. I understand why the players do not want that. I totally understand. And I'm not going to get too far into this. I'm going to say one sentence and move on from it. If you want to just talk like we want to be the capitalist game, well, not having a salary cap is the best way to do that because you get paid what the market says you deserve to be paid. That being said, it is truly ridiculous, in my opinion, that you can have, and I'm going to pull up all the payrolls right now, that you could have teams that are spending what the Dodgers are spending. The Dodgers' tax payroll this year is $420.1 million. And that is in the same league as the Miami Marlins, who are spending $80 million.
Yeah. Crazy.
That is a gap of $340 million. The gap between first and last, Spencer, is as big as the New York Yankees payroll.
Exactly. And that's why I think what the PA put out yesterday might be how somewhat when things get, finished is what it might look like, where there's a competitive integrity tax for any teams that don't. Basically, they want you to spend at least $150 million.
Mm-hmm.
And I think $150 million is a good target, right? For teams in lower markets. I think the floor is what is going to happen. When things are all said and done and they start playing baseball again in 2027, or they don't play in 2027, they play in 2028, we'll be talking about a floor. We'll be talking about teams need to spend at least this amount of money because there's no way teams are going to be competitive. My team, for instance, if they spent money on pitching, we would be talking about the Nationals contending for a World Series this year. But they don't spend money on pitching, which is a lot of, like, if you brought in the pitcher and you signed, I don't know, like a mid to high level pitcher, you would easily be a fourth of what you're trying to get at 150 million.
By the way, the teams that would have to pay would have to shed salary to get under the number, actually, according to this, I think Jesse Rogers was one short because the number is 245, right? Yeah, so there'd actually be 9 teams, according to Spotrac. Dodgers, Mets, Yankees, Phillies, Blue Jays, Red Sox, Padres, Braves, Cubs. They are all over that current number of 245.3 and would thus all have to shed tax. The Tigers are under by $800,000. Like one veteran minimum contract under what would be the salary cap, according to this. I like, in terms of a financial system and an economic system, it's probably not the appropriate thing to do. I understand the arguments from everybody who's in favor of it. I do. I understand the arguments from the people who are against it. I don't know what my opinion on it is. My strongest opinion on the entire thing, and I know that's like the number one sin of talk radio, is saying, well, I'm not sure what my opinion is. The only opinion that I know and am certain of, and for a little while there, I thought, maybe they'll figure it out. We're not getting baseball next year. And it's sad. Mark B puts this in the YouTube comments. There will not be any organized baseball in MLB or the affiliated minor leagues next year. Better get used to the Cape Cod lead and the Monarchs. Washburn baseball, Steve Anson Stadium, Valley Field. Go support your local college baseball team because they're going to be playing. And here's the other thing, too. And they'll figure this out in negotiations, but how do the minors play into this? Because that's the thing that's different about baseball versus, like, in hockey, you've got the AHL, the ECHL, so you have mechanisms there. You have it in the NBA with most teams have a G League team. The NFL doesn't have anything. Baseball, even though Rob Manfred has destroyed so much of the minor leagues, there's still a vast network of players there. How does that affect a salary cap? I'm curious how that would affect it. Does this completely overhaul service time? Most of these guys, unless you're getting an extension like Witt got and you're buying out the arbitration years, does this completely overhaul that system? Does it look more like the NFL where you get drafted, you come up and you've got like a set X amount salary coming? Like, I don't know what that's going to look like. That's things they're going to have to figure out. When you add in a salary cap, that's only going to make it more difficult. I think you can solve, and we have a bunch of headlines, so I won't stay forever on this. I think you could solve a lot of these problems by saying, get rid of deferred money. That'd be number one. You want to pay Shohei Ohtani $700 million? That's fine.
Yeah.
But you can't, or limit it. Limit it to a certain amount of years. The NFL, you can do 5. You can put 5 void years on a contract. That's it. And the money is obviously different, 53 players versus 26. I get that. But there's the other thing. Calling guys up and putting them down. How does that affect the cap? You got to figure that out. I think if you just limited the deferred money, you could save a lot of these problems. But
that is true, yeah.
We'll see how it goes. You've got some headlines for us, Spencer. Take it away.
Yes, we're going to talk a little local tie here. The Women's College World Series in action down in Oklahoma City without Oklahoma for the first time in forever. But shout out to all the fans from all the schools for filling that stadium.
Oh, yeah.
I was a little worried that they weren't going to fill that stadium with Oklahoma not playing.
I saw someone who said that this is probably going to be the most lucrative World Series in a while for Oklahoma City because OU fans aren't staying in hotels. Yeah. They're just going home.
Yeah. But Niger Kennedy and Texas Tech University, they beat Mississippi State 8-0 in 5 innings. They actually pulled Niger Kennedy out because they were winning and didn't need to have her pitch. She only went 4 innings. She gave up 2 hits, a walk, and struck out 3 batters. That sets up a matchup with Tennessee Saturday at 2 p.m. Watch that on ABC. Tennessee has Wamigo's own Peyton Hardenberger on the pitching staff. She's a Lady Vol, so little Topeka Wamigo ties there for Saturday's game at the Women's College World Series.
Texas Tech bludgeoned Mississippi State. I caught a little at the end of the game. They just beat the crap out of them. And
yeah,
I would love to see Niger win a national championship. That would be, I don't know. I haven't checked the odds or anything, but man, what a cool story that'd be for. I mean, truly, and this is not just saying this because she's from here, but like, I don't know, among the most famous softball players ever. Like, she's in the running with like Jenny Finch and the like, right?
Yeah.
I mean, literally on the cutting edge of a new era for that sport, which is really, really cool. Let's get to some college sports news. Brett Yormark down at the Big 12 meetings in Frisco, Texas this week. This came out just a little bit after the show went final yesterday, I believe. There have been a ton of headlines coming out of the SEC meetings. We've talked about that on the show. But Brett Yormark said if the college football playoff expands to 24 teams, he would like to see the Big 12 go to 10 conference games. This is from the writing of Chris Vanini at The Athletic. But speaking to The Athletic on Wednesday, Brett Yormark said he floated the idea of his league increasing to 10 conference games and plans to bring up the idea to the conference's football coaches today. They would need the member schools to vote on this. The Big 10 and the SEC hold the sole ability to expand the playoff or not, which is insane. But Brett Yormark does support a 24-team playoff, says he would like to explore 10 conference games. I think I'm out. I'm just out on all of this, man. At some point, just get on the field, kick off, and let's play some football. Let's hear those pads pop. I'm kind of out on all the junk at this point, to be honest with you. But I think I like non-conference games. And even if you get cupcakes, I guess. But it makes it harder to schedule them. I'm just out on all of this. I'm so over the SEC and Greg Sankey and they're whining. The Big Ten now swinging their you-know-what around. I just want to watch football. I want it to go back to the way it was. I know that makes me... And I say this all the time. I don't mean not paying the players. I don't mean no transfers. That's not what I mean. Just circle like 2012. Just go back to the other rules from that point. Keep the transfers in the NIL, and let's play ball. But toothpaste is out of the tube on that one. Any other headlines for you today?
Yes, there is now a new number one player in the NCAA transfer portal. No, he did not just enter the portal because you can't do that. The portal's closed for entries. Former Iowa State forward Milan Momcilovic, I believe.
Momcilovic.
Yes. Is now the number one player in the transfer portal as he's officially withdrawn his name from the NBA draft. And he will play college basketball next season, according to his agents at Excel Basketball. Kentucky, Louisville, St. John's, Arizona, they are the primary schools expected to be involved in his recruitment. He went through the draft process, the invitation to the combine, but he ultimately decided to go back to school and play one more year and get a big NIL deal.
According to several different outlets, Kentucky, Louisville, St. John's, Arizona, those are the big players in his recruitment. KU can't afford him, but I would love to see him at KU. K-State also will not be affording him, but I think K-State's got other things to worry about right now. That's okay. Other news real quick on the transfer portal front, by the way. Victorious Miller, he was a KU target. He goes to Georgetown. That we heard from Michael Swain. That totally cooled off a few weeks ago. Tunde Yesufu, who was, the only good player on Baylor's roster last year, he withdrew from the draft, and he committed as a transfer to St. John's. Meanwhile, Arizona's Koa Pete, he stays in the NBA draft. Real quick, before we get to Patrick Mahomes, why don't we get to a quick edition of the Playoff Roundup?
It's time for the 580 Sports Talk Playoff Roundup.
Last night on the ice, Carolina shut out the Canadiens, the Habs, 4-0. Montreal just cannot put shots on net. It's actually ridiculous. They have 25 shots on goal over the last 3 games total. That is outrageous. Somebody posted, I saw this in the YouTube comments of a breakdown of last night's game. For the last 3 games, if you took a shot of vodka every time Montreal got a shot on goal in the third period, you could still legally drive yourself home from all 3 games.
Yeah, I tuned into that game late, and they said with like 8 minutes in that it was the first shot on goal in the period, and I was like, geez.
That's absurd. Carolina going to get it done tomorrow night?
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt to me about that. NBA playoffs, Game 6 tonight in the Western Conference Finals. Oklahoma City travels to San Antonio. Thunder taking on the Spurs. We've got a Game 7 if the Spurs win. If the Thunder win, though, they'll clinch the series in 6. And then the rest argument for the NBA Finals. Ooh, the Knicks are going to be well-rested. The Thunder are still going to have almost a week of rest before the finals start. Who you got tonight? Thunder or Spurs in San Antonio?
This is ugly, but I got Oklahoma City.
I kind of have a nagging feeling it's going to be the Thunder. I want the Spurs to win, though.
Oh,
I want
do
7.
too, but I just
This series has been a blast. Give me the Spurs. Wemby, one more time for us, please. We'll get to a break. We'll hear from Patrick Mahomes after this on 580 Sports Talk. Tyler in the YouTube comments regarding players withdrawing or staying in the NBA draft says, can we stop saying going back to school? None of these kids are in school, seriously.
That's true. Yeah.
I do wonder what that's like. You know, for a Milan Momcilovic, like, you have to be eligible. And I mean, they get tutors and everything. Ben Simmons famously never went to a single class after the semester when he was at LSU. And also, if I remember correctly, his GPA, like, he should not have been eligible at LSU. He had a GPA of like 0.8 or some crazy thing. I do wonder what that's like for guys who are just bouncing around all over. Like, man, if I know I'm not coming back to this school, like, I know I'm going in the portal, what do you do class-wise? Like, most of their classes are online anyway, so it probably doesn't really matter. But it's curious. If you are thinking I want to graduate and you just bounce school to school constantly, you're probably gonna have a bad time. That's probably not gonna work out for you.
My other thought on this is, like, basketball is going to come to an end for you at some point.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I guess because I went to school in like the last era of, people going and staying for 4 years. Or getting a grad year and going somewhere else, like using their grad transfer or whatever, and COVID year. Like, I was done by COVID. So, like, are they getting an education? Like, what are you going to get? Are you getting a degree? Like,
I think the theory, and I think it's been a theory for a long time, is like, I don't need it because I played basketball and I can get a job because of it. Not necessarily like playing basketball, but like, I'll have connections through it. And look, I was never an athlete to this level, so I can't tell you what it was like. But again. And for some of these dudes who are going to go on and make millions of dollars, they probably couldn't care less. It's got to be annoying. But maybe you don't care. Maybe you just say, hey, I'm going to get my money and get out, and I don't care about it. And if that's the case, well, then more power to you.
Real quick,
Yeah.
I have a story. I don't know if I shared this. Senior year, this was literally before COVID. This was the conference basketball championships. I had a class with a player, and we had to turn in a paper copy.
Mm-hmm.
And he literally couldn't get it done before they went. It was impossible because they had a road trip, and then he had to get something done. He had to go to class to get it revised. And so he was there for the class, but he couldn't get it done. Well, we sat next to each other. So he literally, and I knew him because obviously working in media and stuff. He was like, hey, can I send you my paper and you turn it in since I'm not going to be here? I was like, he literally couldn't give you they couldn't give you any reason to not so I had to print out this guy's paper and turn it in. And it felt so weird.
That is pretty funny though.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right. We do need to hear from QB1. Let's hear from Patrick Mahomes. He spoke at OTAs. It's the last time we're going to hear from Mahomes until training camp, correct? So
that's what I read.
Yeah, this is it for the next month and a half or so. We're not going to hear from QB1. So let's hear what Patrick Mahomes had to say after today's OTAs in Kansas City.
How you feeling? How did it go out there?
It was good, it's good to be back on the field and just be with the guys. I think more than anything, when you're some of those days you're rehabbing, and you're kind of here by yourself or with a couple of the other guys, and you kind of get that juice whenever everyone gets back in the building. So it was good to be out there and be able to take part in a little bit of the practice.
How are you doing with the brace?
I wore a brace in college, so I'm on the same knee, and so it's not too different than what I've felt before, and so now it's just kind of just getting adjusted to it. But obviously, I'm not running and cutting and doing all that stuff in it yet, so that'll be another adjustment period at some point. But it's good to get these reps now, so I can kind of speed that adjustment period along.
Obviously, the goal for you is still week number one for you, correct?
Yeah, for sure. As a competitor, I want to be out there with my guys, but I know that's still a long ways away, and so all I can do is just execute the day and do whatever I can to be better that day. And so we've done that up until now, and we've kind of set these checkpoints and these goals of where I want to be at, and I've gotten to those. And so now I just got to continue to do that at the right pace.
People talk about your competitiveness, but what's a normal day, week look like for you? Because they talk about you being up here all the time. So what's a normal 9 to 5 Monday through Friday look like?
Yeah, right now, with the practices, it gets a little bit longer. But you come in early in the morning, you rehab and kind of get everything moving around. Then you go to meetings. You come down, you warm up before practice, go to practice, and then you come out of practice. Usually I'd be rehabbing right now. Brad's got me in here. But then you go to meetings again, and then you end up going and rehabbing it after, and then I go home and then chase kids around until I fall asleep.
Finally, during your golf thing, did you do any recruiting when you were out there?
I didn't do much recruiting. I leave that to Veach and the guys. I think we recruit ourselves just by who we are. So I like having veterans around and guys like that at that tournament, and they're the only guys that can get off work that week. And so there were some good football players there, but I didn't do any recruiting in that standpoint. I think I leave that to Veach and the guys.
Patrick, obviously you're going to have some physical stuff you want to get through. You mentioned just cutting and stuff. What sort of mental stuff do you want to get through over the next couple of months before you'll feel mentally ready for it?
Yeah, I think it comes at a pace. I think this first step was getting the 7-on-7, and for me, it's more of just seeing the defense. I've been a long time of not being out there and seeing the plays develop, the defense out there, and so it's been good to see that. Just even if I'm just from the pocket and stuff like that. And then the next step will be getting with team and getting under center and stuff like that. But we'll to kind of progress to that, and then they'll be going out there and being live and with the guys, and then eventually you get the games. And so it's a process. You got to stay a part of it, and I've kind of learned that all I can do is be great that day. And if I continue to be great every single day, then I can get to those goals, that I can get the opportunity to be out there on the field.
And you mentioned checkpoints. Obviously 7-on-7 today, 11-on-11. Is it feasible for you maybe to participate in 11-on-11 at the start of training camp, or is that?
It's kind of, we'll see. You kind of have these week to 2 week kind of checkpoints where I got to get to. So I think the biggest thing for me now is kind of getting to the running and cutting, and I've started that stuff. But until I'm able to protect myself and go out there and be there, they're going to keep me safe and not let me have the opportunity as much as I want to be out there. But I think if I can continue to do this stuff the right way, that's the hope for me at least. And so all I can do is execute this next checkpoint of getting that cutting, being able to protect myself, prove to Julie and Rick and those guys and Dr. Cooper that I can protect myself. Then they'll let me go out there and be a part of the team drills, and then that'll progress into games.
Doctor, how much of a comfort is it to have Julie be sort of part of this process? Obviously, she's been traveling with you as well. And what are the ways that she's sort of tried to both push you and encourage you? It's sort of I feel like it's a yo-yo.
Yeah, it's a lot like just I've known her for so long, and I trust her so much. It's kind of like when I train with Bobby or even when I'm at home with Brittany, they know how to like push me whenever I don't feel like doing the work. And so Julie has a great feel with, I mean, there's days you come in, you're tired. I mean, you're sore and you're stuff like that, but she's going to make sure I finish the entire workout and I'm going to do it the right way. And you got to have someone that's going to push you like that. That's not scared to push you even when you're not feeling great. And she does that. And she knows when to kind of pull back on some days. She can tell how I'm working out if I need to pull back or how I'm feeling. And so just having the ultimate trust that she's going to do that, it lets me just go out there and just work and not have to think about, am I doing too much? Am I doing not enough? And knowing that she's talked to Dr. Cooper, she's talked to Rick, she's talked to everybody, and she knows what she's doing. And so definitely a big advantage for me having her in the building.
What adjustments have you had to make while you've been out here and you're in the brace and everything? Is there a big adjustment or is it just...
I told Coach Reid, I think it's helping me a little bit because I can't move around. So it's kind of settling my feet down. It's kind of like when I hurt my ankle sometimes. It's like I can't scramble and I can't do these things, so it makes me sit in the pocket and go through the reads and do that stuff. So I'm gonna try to use it to my advantage. Like it's stuff that I can get better at as progressing through the entire concept and stuff like that. And I don't have the ability to scramble and do that stuff right now. And so it should help me in those things that hopefully whenever I get that ability back, I still will go through the progressions at a higher rate than I've done in the past.
Coach, you talked about EB being back out there, the energy picked up.
Yeah.
Having him in your back in your headset.
Yeah, no, it's just a standard that you have to practice with and you have to play with, and he's going to hold you to that standard no matter who you are, from the first guy to the 90th guy right now. He's going to hold you to that standard, and I think that's something that it's hard to replicate. I think that's the best way to say it, and he has brought in a lot of concepts and a lot of things that I've really liked that we've added in now, and so I think it's good to have him back in the building, having that energy back. A lot of these guys haven't had a EB, and so they understand it. And but honestly, I think it's been cool. They're really receptive of it, and even though it's hard, I mean, there's hard days. They know why we're doing it. I think it's kind of, you can see it, the guys, and they want to be great and they want to be better than we were last year. And so we've had a good start to these OTAs, and we just got to keep pushing through it.
But the guys that haven't had an EB, what was your message to them? Like what to expect about it?
I mean, they still haven't seen EB yet. You know what I mean? Like he's I'm not gonna say he's taking it easy. He's still pushing the guys, but he holds them to a standard. They haven't had those days because it's usually training camp when guys get tired and they lose kind of that will to kind of finish and to kind of do all the exact right things, and that's when EB is going to hold you to that standard. And so we haven't gotten to there yet, but as long as you keep having good practices, we can prolong that as long as possible. But I love it, man. I truly do. And I think you can feel it in the meeting rooms, like the way he carries himself with the confidence that he carries himself with. I think it really focuses you in on what you're learning, the little details of things. And so it's been exciting to me. That first meeting had me run through a brick wall, man. It had me ready to go.
Go ahead. Patrick, rehab can be emotionally kind of demanding for a lot of people. Have you had challenges that way, like anybody else, in terms of just finding the juice?
Not necessarily finding the juice. I think it's just, especially at the beginning, there was things that I wanted to do that I couldn't do yet, and so those days were hard. But I always look back at the week. We will take some videos, and I look back at the week prior, and I'm making progress. I think as long as I'm making progress, I have to continue to just do that. And so even though it might not be the perfect thing to do, I have to just keep reminding myself that I am making progress. I am getting better. And you got to push yourself through those days. I mean, it's not always perfect. It's hard days, and you got to push yourself through because the end goal is where you're trying to get to. And I think that's just kind of how I am.
And just in the days right after the injury, would you have pictured being this advanced at this point, or maybe you didn't set any limitation or expectation?
Yeah, I wanted to play, so I don't want to miss games as much as possible. I know it's not all in my control. It's in God's control at some point, but I'm going to give myself a chance by the way I work to be the best I can be. And so I'm in a good spot now. compared to where some people thought, but I thought I was going to be here. So it's just doing what I'm supposed to do every single day, and then hopefully that gives me the chance to be out there with the guys whenever we start the season.
We got time for a few more guys. Go ahead, Jesse. Hey, Patrick, you said in January your goal was week 1 to be back. We've had a few more months now.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts now?
Yeah, I mean, that's always going to be the goal. Like, I don't want to miss games. I mean, as a competitor, as a football player, I want to be there. I know, like I said, I know it's still a long ways away. You know, I can't predict the future. And so all I can do is be great today and then continue to be great tomorrow. But I've gotten to where I've gotten to because of that mindset. And the goal at the end, the very far end, is to be ready and to be able to go out there and play with the guys week 1 at Arrowhead. But I gotta take it day by day.
As far as getting there, being out there with the guys, you have a history of, coming back from injuries faster than expected. With this, just being a football player, what's the difference between your body being 100% and you feeling 100%?
I don't know. I'm be honest with you. I know that whenever I get out there on the field and I feel like I can be Patrick Mahomes, I'll be Patrick Mahomes. Like there's no like. I've never not felt like I'm 100%. Even when I have a sprained ankle, I feel like I'm 100% of what I can be. And so I'm going to have that mindset when I go on the field. And when I get on the field, I'm going to be myself. I'm not going to hold back. I'm going to lay it all on the line for my guys and my teammates.
Last two, Herbie and then Sam. Go ahead, Herbie.
Patrick, you got another Super Bowl MVP in the offensive huddle now, along with yourself. What are your impressions so far of Kenneth Walker?
I mean, he's a great dude. I think that's the first thing I noticed. Like you can tell he truly cares about football. He cares about his teammates. If he's not in the play, he's helping the guys on the sideline and he's trying to learn and asking me questions and doing those things. And then he's a great football player. I mean, even from what y'all saw today, like it's special the way he's able to run the football, catch the football, do everything. And I said I'm kind of built like him, but not just like built like him yet. But he's going to help. He's going to help us a lot on this team by his mindset and the football player that he is.
Sam, last one.
Patrick, you mentioned just the not being able to move has kind of forced you to is that something I assume you work on it every offseason? Was that already going to be a point of emphasis this offseason?
It always is to me because that's something that I've been able to move a lot, so it's helped me. I've made a lot of big plays happening, scrambling, and doing that stuff. But as a quarterback, and especially as you continue to get older, you want to be able to make plays from within the pocket and throw it to the right guys and let these guys make plays. And that was going to be something that I continue to work at. But now I have no choice. If it's not there, I'm not able to scramble. So I got to get through my reads and throw it to the right guy. And so I've seen progress of that even in these first 3 days. Is like one times I might have scrambled and tried to make a crazy play happen. I've kind of just stayed in the pocket, got through the reads and hit the appropriate guy. And I'm hoping that helps me out whenever I'm able to scramble and do those things again.
So that's Patrick Mahomes, QB1, speaking today. Again, the only time we'll hear from him until training camp. So sharing his recovery. He didn't really give Matt Derrick an answer, but I thought Matt asked him a fair question, and we'll talk to Matt about it tomorrow.
Was a great question.
Like, what's the difference between being your body being 100% and feeling like 100% on the field? And I don't blame Mahomes for not really knowing. I mean, he hasn't torn his ACL before, but I thought that was a great question. So we'll ask Matt for his thoughts on it coming up tomorrow on the program. Wanted to bring it full circle real quick with what I said at the top of the 4 o'clock hour. Like, could the Chiefs run the ball like 2 or 3 more times a game? Could they run play action like 2 or 3 more times a game and increase their usage there to help out Patrick Mahomes? My one hope, Eric Bieniemy is back, right? Offensive coordinator. Last year, he was not the OC with the Bears. He was just the running backs coach. But he was also there as DeAndre Swift, who previously I thought of as a Jag, had the best year of his career by far. Kyle Monungai, 7th-round pick. He had a great rookie season as a number 2 running back. The Bears had the second highest play action rate in the NFL last year, right around 31.5%. That was the second highest in the league, only behind the Rams, who build the whole plane out of play action. The whole thought with bringing EB back, right, was he knows the guys, he knows the system, but also he's been around some different places and is bringing new ideas. Bring some play action with you, just like a little bit. The Chiefs last year ran play action 15% of the time, dead last in the league. Can you get to like 22%? That would get you to like 23rd in the NFL. Can you do that? Because if you can, I think this is the top 5 offense. If not, we got to get to a timeout. We'll play either or over under on the other side of this break here on 580 Sports Talk. Let's play a little either or over under before we get out of here on 580 Sports Talk today. Brendan and Spencer with you. So the NBA made it official today. The owners, the governors of the NBA, officially signed off on new tanking rules and draft lottery rules, supposed to eliminate tanking. The lottery will now include 16 teams in the NBA, not just 14. And if you are a bottom 3 team, so again, one of the 3 worst teams in the league, they are taking away your chance of getting the number 1 pick. You're actually getting worse odds of the number 1 pick if you're one of the 3 worst teams. And they're trying to smooth the odds out across the board for all the teams in the bottom 16. The theory is, well, if by being the worst team, you don't have the best odds to get the number 1 pick, teams aren't going to want to lose, right? Because they won't get the number 1 pick. Except now you're still making it a benefit to lose because now, okay, wow, we'll lose 58 games instead of 61 games and we'll get better odds than if we had lost 61 games. This is not going to fix anything. So my over-under for you, 1 season, half a season, I guess, technically, to make the game work, until we get a complaint about this system being unfair from the NBA. And we hear that they're going to reconsider it again. I'm going under.
I'm taking the under.
I mean, like this lottery, this year's draft. It doesn't apply to this draft. We already had the lottery. But this is insane. This is not going to work. Not even close. You're just encouraging more teams to be bad, just not historically bad all at the same time. This is so stupid. Adam Silver. All right. Either or. Which is the worst commissioner? Rob Manfred or Adam Silver? I think Rob Manfred hates baseball. But I will say this. I don't like the Manfred man. Some of the other, I don't like that he killed off like 100 minor league baseball teams. That's awful.
Isn't he the ghost runner too?
Yeah, the Manfred man.
Yeah.
But the pitch clock, I do kind of like it.
Yeah.
I do like the pitch clock. And it's sort of dumb, but I sort of am okay with the pickoff rule too. They're like, okay, you get 2 and then you got to stop or it's a ball. I I'm okay with those. Like, he has done a couple things. Overall, don't like him. A couple things I'm okay with. What has Adam Silver done positively since kicking out Donald Sterling? I got nothing. I got nothing for you. So yeah, that I'm going to say Silver.
Yeah,
which I can't believe, but he might truly be worse than Manfred. Although that's like Stalin versus Pol Pot there. Like hard to pick between the two. Do you have an either or over under for us?
Yeah, I do. So you've been pounding the table for a couple weeks now for Stephon Diggs.
You're damn right. Ow.
The Chiefs, they're not going to make enough room in the cap to do so. So I think they go back to their favorite well. Either or, do they sign Juju Smith-Schuster? Yes or no?
Oh yeah, I think
after his workout that he's posted on social media this week,
I honestly think that that's going to happen no matter what, and I don't even know if that's really going to impact their ability to sign like a Debo or a Keenan Allen or something like that. Diggs can command more money than those guys, which is what's going to make that more difficult. And as Matt, we talked about this earlier, as Matt Verderam pointed out, do you really want to add another problem guy off the field? Exactly, probably not. Like looking at market value right now, so Spotrac, they have the list of the available wide receiver free agents and what their estimated market value is. The assigned market value for Juju Smith-Schuster is $2.1 million. Last year, he made $1.4 million. I don't even think he'd get 2.1. Like, no. I think you're looking at like 1.5 again.
Yeah.
And if you're talking about that, I mean, you're still probably in, Keenan Allen, Sterling Shepard, Brandon Cooks, if you just want another deep ball guy. I mean, I don't think Cooks has anything left in the tank, but you know what I mean. Maybe someone in the scouting department loves Jahan Dotson. I don't know. Like, I think it's for sure. I think Juju will be on this team for sure. They
That's
love
where
the
I
dude.
was going anyway.
Yeah, they for better or for worse, they love the guy, and he's not going to cost anything. He's only going to play a few snaps. He's a
veteran presence in the locker, a mature veteran presence in the locker room,
which is so funny given what his reputation was early in his career. He was the first TikTok boy.
He was.
That was his thing. Can you believe he's not even 30?
Crazy.
He got in the league. So he might have been the youngest player ever. I don't remember for sure, but he was one of the youngest players ever. I think he'll be back. I still feel like there's another one. I still do. Let's go with another over under, or maybe we should play it sooner or later. I'll give you June 30th. I'll give you the end of next month. Matt Quattrero, is he employed after that date? Or will he be fired sooner than that date?
I want to say yes, but my gut says he's still going to be the coach till the manager till the end of the season.
I hate talking about another man's job.
Yeah.
I don't think he gets to the All-Star break. I hope he does, because that means the Royals start winning, but I don't think he gets to the All-Star break. So I'll go sooner, even though the end of June's before the break anyway. We have one more break to get to. We'll pay some bills. We'll come on back with the final word after this on 580 Sports Talk. Wrapping it up on 580 Sports Talk with a quick final word. Spencer.
Yeah, I really thought today we'd wake up with some news that at least Alex Zumwalt was fired from his position as hitting coach or hitting coordinator for the Kansas City Royals. And if not that, then just everybody gone. But you can't get much more embarrassed than the last 3 days the Royals have been.
22-1, they've been outscored in the last two games. I know the Yankees are good, but just because the pitchers are good and the team is good doesn't mean you have to be non-competitive in those games. Such a bummer to watch this Royals team right now to just waste a Bobby Witt Jr. year. It's disappointing, and I'm not going to lie, I'm pretty excited that the Royals are not playing tonight. They're back tomorrow, so are we. We'll have Matt Derrick joining the show. We've got our What Is Wrong With You May Championship. We'll talk plenty of Royals baseball as we get ready for the weekend series against the Rangers and so much more. That's tomorrow from 3 until 6. Don't forget to check out the podcast on Spotify. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube as well. For Spencer Dupuis, I'm Brendan Dworzinski. We will join you tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock right back here on 580 Sports Talk.